right, man. The woke mob says it's okay, so no worries.
It so bums me out that Jay-Z and all the rappers are getting drugged through the mud, and it looks like it might be true.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Damn it. Hey, do you remember that show? Did you remember that show, The Wire?
Yes, I never watched it, but I know it was popular.
And there was a guy in there, he was like the main like gangster dude, and his name was Omar. And when he would come on the screen, it reminded me like when I was a little kid, when Oscar the Grouch would come on the screen, or Cookie Monster, or the Mr. Rogers when the trolley would come on, or Sesame Street when Snuffleupagus came on. But now this character was just this bad, you know what I mean? Same feelings, but now, and anyway, he was gay. And but he was the fucking hardest dude.
Okay.
And he would just wear like a trench coat with no clothes underneath and a shotgun underneath. And like he would walk down the street and the whole like hood would fucking run from him. It was great. He ended up dying, I think. I can't have a drug overdose or something in real life. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
It's a great series. The Wire's a great series if you're ever just like have time to kill.
You know, I've said to myself before, I'm going to watch The Wire because everyone I see on Reddit, a lot of people say that it's one of the greatest shows ever. And I don't know if it's the acting or the script writing or what, but it's critically acclaimed. And I think it won a ton of Emmys and awards. So it must be good.
Yeah. The acting's crazy. Do you watch anything? Do you have any series?
I'm big on like true crime documentaries. That's kind of my jam. But Netflix, Hulu, anything like that. As far as television shows, there's nothing I've gotten into in a while. I feel like the quality of it has just really gone down. A lot of it just tries to be woke, and even like SNL, it's not even funny. It's like I never laugh when I watch it, so it's kind of hard.
Did you ever see that show on Amazon, The Boys?
No.
I think it's Amazon's most watched show. It's kind of like, I think it's it was up there like with Squid Games, but it was Amazon. Anyway, I was the premise is it's superheroes in modern day time, and basically they're all caught up in social media. Like they're all trying to be, you know what I mean? Like they're concerned about their following. It's crazy. But it took me 4 seasons to realize that I'm watching it's gay porn. The whole thing is, it's got this super it shows how numb I am. But when I was a kid, there was something called Skinamax, and you could put Cinemax on like at midnight, and you could see people like having sex, but it wasn't porn because you didn't actually see penetration or anything like that. So if you would go over to a friend's house and they had it, you'd watch that, and maybe you see some titties and some thrusting. But seriously, it's that on Amazon, but for gay people. It's crazy.
Okay.
It's one of those things that I would highly recommend you see. I highly recommend you see it. And it's a wild show. The premise is so wild and so pathological and so broken, but it's worth seeing.
Okay, it's called The Boys?
The Boys, yeah.
All right, I'll check it out, man.
Yeah, and
I don't watch a lot of Prime stuff. Amazon Prime, I just don't like the website or the platform that they use. I feel like it glitches a lot and it's not user friendly. So usually I'm just on Netflix, but Netflix doesn't really release a lot of new stuff. So I'll check that out.
Did you watch the Tyson fight?
Dude, it kept glitching and I turned it off during the undercard. I didn't even finish it. I didn't watch Tyson.
You're in Chicago?
Yeah.
I'm in California. We didn't have the glitching here, but all my friends throughout the country all had the glitching.
It was terrible, man. It just said uploading. It stopped. It wouldn't. I'd change the channel and go back to the fight, and it would be from an hour prior. It wouldn't be live anymore, and you couldn't fast forward it. It was really weird. So,
a buddy of mine and I are going to start up a new YouTube station where we review like TV shows and movies. He's a crazy movie buff. Anyway, and so one of his favorite shows of all time is Dexter.
Oh, I was just talking about that yesterday with someone.
Tell me, what were you talking about it? Well, I just started it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I started it and I finished I think the first season, and then I think he hooks up with someone that turns out to be his sister. He finds out, and I think it was right around that. Well, spoiler alert. I think it was right around that time I stopped watching it. But it was cool. I like true crime. Obviously, that's not true crime. It's not based off of anything. It's fiction. But I thought it was a good show. Pathological and crazy, and the guy's definitely psychotic, but it was entertaining. So I think it's worth watching.
A serial killer with rules.
Yes, moral compass.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's hard for me to watch, and it's kind of changed my perspective just because I've been immersed in it for so long of the whole world. Like when I look at people, I'm starting to think because this guy has a lot of inner dialogue that's in the show, and I'm like, man, I wonder what that guy's inner dialogue is right now. I wonder
Mm.
what his inner dialogue is.
Or Jeffrey Dahmer. I watched the Dahmer. That was fantastic on Netflix. Same people that made the Menendez brothers. And it was just one of the best shows I've ever watched in my life. And I always wondered what is going through that guy's head. They did a good job of kind of providing some backstory about how he grew up and his parental influences and how that kind of led to his sociopathy and psychopathy. But yeah, man, people like John Wayne Gacy and Dahmer, it's really interesting to sometimes I was like, man, I wish I could just be a fly on the wall and know what was going on in their head.
Isn't the true crime that most of that stuff? One of my other friends, Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit's really into serial killers and that stuff too. But for the most part, you're the first man I know that I've talked to. That's usually like women love that stuff, right? Like
Yeah,
those
women
podcasts.
I've loved it forever. I am my mother's child. So, a lot of people say, even with my troll, they're like, your troll's not that much different from how you are in real life. You're kind of the same way. You have effeminate ways. And I'm like, I'm just me. So, I mean, I like a lot of things that I guess aren't typically masculine or male. But I just like what I like in true crime, whether it's books or audiobooks or, TV or movies. I love true crime. I always have since I was like 6 years old.
Hey, the if I mischaracterize you in any way or make any presuppositions, please jump in because I've just only watched you from the outside, but I think a life that doesn't run experiments is an unlived life. Like someone who doesn't try just drinking water for 3 days, someone who doesn't try just to stop talking and stop writing and just use facial communications for 3 days in their life. Like I think life is all about experimenting and observing yourself, using yourself as your own kind of experiment. Is that basically what you did? I mean, obviously, and I know the story about you being inspired by why you did that experiment, but would you say it was an experiment you ran?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm a sociologist by training. So my undergrad was sociology and political science. I went on to get my Juris Doctor in law school. But I always look at things from kind of a sociological perspective or bent. And so I've done a lot of stunts or things. This was not my first one. I had a lot of fake relationships. I fake dated someone from 600-pound life. I fake dated and fake got married to a man to get articles out saying that I was, LGBTQIA friendly. I fake dated a drag queen for that same reason to kind of place these articles out there to kind of lay the groundwork for this master troll. So I've been doing a lot of mini trolls in the last couple of years that led up to kind of this master troll. And no one knew that these were all little trolls until I revealed everything last month. But yeah, it was a social experiment. I wanted to see how far people would take the premise that men can be women. And if we're really going to accept it and be people of our word and say that men can be women because they articulate a gender identity that differs from their biological sex, then I want to put that to the test and make you guys eat your words. And so that's why I did the troll to say, hey, if I have a full beard now, we're saying that our appearance and gender expression does not dictate our gender. If I have a full beard and I present fully masculine, but articulate a gender identity that's feminine, am I a woman? And I wanted them to buy what they were selling. And a lot of them said, yes, you are a valid woman. And so that's kind of where I was going with that.
Is there a market for these clothes on eBay now
You
that you've
know,
worn them?
It sucks. I am actually filming I can't say a lot because I signed an NDA, but I have teamed up with one of the largest conservative media companies in the world, and I'm going to be taking part in a new film that we're making. And so they wanted me to show all of these outfits in the film. And I said, man, I donated all of these about a month ago. So about 5 days after my troll was over, I put all of the dresses in a huge garbage bag and donated them to the Salvation Army so that real women could actually wear them. So someone somewhere is wearing all of these dresses.
God, dude, that would have been a great another great thing on for eBay.
I know. People said they belong in like a historic museum or the Smithsonian or something. So that I thought that was kind of funny.
it's wild. There's a never ending supply of things that people can do that are creative and fun, and it never runs out. It never ceases to amaze me, that I keep seeing new stuff all the time on social media, and just all the great stuff that's on here. I want to show you this. Is it called Papa? Damn, what damn, I forget, what is it? Do you remember those rappers' name, Caleb? The old guys. Have you seen the old guy rappers out of the UK, Josh?
No, I have not.
They're putting on like 100,000 Instagram followers a day. God, I wish I could show you.
I'll go pull him up. Just a second.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's just endless, and that's what you did is what the platform's for.
I think so. I mean, it's social, so it's supposed to connect us. And what I wanted was, I was sick of the censorship that we saw over the last few years, I believe, especially because of the Biden administration and woke policies and this kind of progressivism that's like a virus. I saw that free speech was going away on platforms that were supposed to encourage free speech and encourage connections and facilitate open dialogue. And I said, you know what? I'm sick of this. If social media is for anything, it should be encouraging an open dialogue. People should be allowed to question the premise that men can magically become women because they utter a phrase. And so I said, I'm going to use social media for what it should be used for. I want to connect people in a broader conversation. And that's actually what happened. And, millions and hundreds of millions of people saw these, and tens of thousands of people were having conversations in the comments under my posts. And I think that's what social media should really be about.
A friend of mine who's in a very, very unique situation. She has a podcast called Glinton Things, and she's a lesbian, and she's like over 6 feet tall, and her wife is over 6 feet tall, and her whole life always been confused as a man. Oh yeah, let me show you these guys real quick. I'll show you this. So look, it's 2024, and we have our first like serious fucking hardcore old guy rappers. Will you play that with that? Or scroll down a little bit more, Caleb. Thanks for finding this so quick. Keep going. Keep going. Maybe the one where on the top in the right there, top right. I think that one's good. Where check this out.
Just get smoked like a cigar. Pull strings like a bloke on the guitar. One call, get wrapped, dish dasher. Left in a dune in the sands in guitar. Bando, bricks in between walls. Break bricks like bits on a D-wall. Bands bits to the boys in the Midlands. Box air passing the rock like a speedball. Big chain and it swings on a crisp white. Bring pain when I flex in a fist fight. Got the missus on the blower, tell her sit tight. I'll be running the roads, I'm back after midnight. Several road from me head to
crazy, right?
They're actually really good.
They're insane, dude.
I might go follow them now.
Dude, Pete and Bass. I guess the backstory is I'm trying to get them on the podcast, but I guess the backstory is their grandsons write the lyrics and make the music, and then they just feed it to their granddads.
That's genius, man. I love that.
And it's just endless. There's never ending new ways to be creative. So this lady I know, Garrett Glinton podcast, 6 feet tall, wife is 6 feet tall, lesbians. She presents like a man. She always has, just because the way she cuts her hair. She's into basketball. And so her whole life has just been like, hearing her stories, it's so fucked up. If she goes into she doesn't want to go into the men's restroom because she's not a man, and she goes into the women's restroom, and her whole life people have been like, hey, you can't be in here. And then now, because they think she's a man. But now all of this shit unfolds, and it's complicated things even more. And when I talk to her, she's like, yeah, I just hold it. I just have to remember anywhere I go where there's bathrooms. But she wrote this to me when she saw you were coming on the show. I can't wait for you to have the Bachelor guy on, Bachelorette actually. And I've been trying to figure him out all year. I was just thinking, is your last name Seiter, Josh? Seiter. I apologize. I was just thinking Josh Seiter helped win the election for Daddy Trump. He helped split the rainbow vote so much. I wonder if he even realizes that. And then I said, how'd he do that? And she said, well, 1/3 of us were telling him he's not a woman and never will be. 1/3 of us were saying, yeah, queen, be you. And 1/3 of us were trying to figure out if he was really trans and questioning how weird it was. We were fighting with each other. Kamala lost at least 1/3 of the gays just from that. And he was masterful answering comments.
Well, I appreciate that. And I also noticed that also. I said to myself, if they say I'm a woman, then I can beat them on the merits of this argument by saying, no, I'm not a woman. This is a troll. I'm still a man, just like every other trans woman. We're all just men claiming to be women. And as soon as I take this makeup off, it's very evident I'm still a man. Nothing transformative happened. And to those people that say that I'm not a woman, that come from the LGBTQ community, they are also proving my point, because they are saying that man right there does not magically become a woman just because he threw lipstick on, which is the argument I'm making. Neither I nor any other man magically becomes a woman because we throw a dress on. And so I think her point is fantastic. No matter which way the people went, Josh is a woman, he's not a woman, they're proving my point, that this is all ridiculous and none of it makes sense. And I really appreciate her words, and I'm glad that my experiment was kind of thought-provoking and got a lot of people thinking.
We live in a society where a lot of people are acting, right? By that I mean they're posturing or they're going for an image. A friend of mine would always be like, hey, just because you put on chaps and spurs and a cowboy hat and a 6-shooter doesn't mean you're a cowboy. A cowboy doesn't wake up in the morning and before he goes out, look in the mirror and be like, okay, I look like a cowboy, I'm ready. He just gets dressed. He wears the chaps to protect himself from bushes when he's riding the horse. The hat's for the sun, right? The spurs are to make the horse go. All of those things are like practical things for his job. He's not pretending to be a cowboy. And the same thing, I trip on, when the whole gender thing came up, I was tripping because especially in the schools when they're like trying to introduce this word gender to people like it's real, because I've never had a gender. Ever. If we agree that a gender is a socially constructed identity around your sexuality. Like for me, it's just like I pee standing up. I like boobs. And then there's some things my mom taught me, stand up when someone enters the room, hold doors open for people, take your job's to take the trash out. But I never identified it with being, I never think, hey, today I need to act like a man. Ever.
Well, sex is immutable, right? And so they know that. And so the left came up.
What does that mean, immutable?
Immutable means it's unchanging. It never changes. It's not fluid. It just is. And it's a fact of life, and it's a part of reality. The left does not like reality. They don't like facts. They don't like things that don't change. So what they did, they're very good at this semantical game. They use verbal legerdemain and say, we're going to take this concept of gender. Oh, gender actually, we have decided, is mutable. You can change it. It's actually fluid. And it's actually our gender that's important and instructive in all of this. And our gender is a social construct which we decide by articulating a personal identity. And only I can articulate my personal identity. So if I articulate that my gender identity is female, I magically, through the vessel of gender, become a woman. And so they go, don't listen to sex. Sex isn't instructive on this. All that matters is gender, and you decide your gender. And I go, well, how convenient. You have now changed it where anyone can become anything they want. All they have to do is articulate a different gender than their biological sex. And magically that trumps their biological sex in your book, and that makes them a woman. And of course, everyone knows that's not true. Your biological sex trumps anything, including this concept of gender that they have hijacked. And they don't like that. And that's why they try to erase terms like biology and sex. And instead they say assigned sex at birth or sex listed on medical documents. Well, that sex is listed on those medical documents because it's your sex. That sex was assigned to you because it's your sex, and it's immutable. You can't change it, and it doesn't matter what gender identity or expression you want to articulate. And so they're very good at this game, and they've co-opted the medical communities, woke politicians who want votes, in a media that only cares about sowing dissension and acrimony. And they've now created this entire little game. And I think most people during the election spoke up and said, we're sick of these games. We believe what our eyes tell us. We know men don't magically become women. We know you can't just change your sex by uttering a phrase. And this is all stupid. We're not buying it, and we're done with this little game. And I think that's why the Democrats lost. And I think that's why most people are kind of rejecting woke ideology, because none of it makes sense. None of it passes the smell test, and it's a bunch of bullshit, and everybody knows it.
Do they know it?
No, they're in denial. And you see that by the talking heads that are still on television today saying that they don't understand how they lost the election and America's just awful and terrible and odious. No, that's not the case. You guys took a losing argument. You told us not to believe our lying eyes, and we rejected it and said, no, we're going to believe our eyes. That 6'5" dude that's playing on a female college volleyball team is not magically a woman. He is a dude, and you guys are telling us that he's not, and we're not buying it. So buy. And, you know, a majority of the country said that to them, and they can't swallow that pill, so they're in denial.
What percentage of the people were just going along, do you think, because they were afraid to speak up because they didn't want to be called transphobic or homophobic or racist? Do you think a lot of people were just like, hey, it's no big deal? When I would tell my liberal friends, like men who have daughters, I'll be like, hey, dude, did you see this guy was sexually assaulted a girl in a bathroom at a high school? Then they transferred her to another high school where she raped a girl. And my friends would be like, oh, it's just an isolated incident. They always like, so that means they knew what you just described as just the logic of the situation, but they were trying to, why wouldn't they just come out and speak out and say, no, those people are batshit crazy? Because I almost feel like they're codependents to craziness.
Never underestimate the backflips and mental gymnastics that these people will do to just not admit a simple truth. The simple truth that men can't magically change their sex, or women can magically change their sex. They cannot do it. So they will go through these mental gymnastics like you just showed and say, oh, that was an isolated incident. Well, Redux, REDUXX, has done a ton of studies on this, and they're not isolated incidents. Actually, male patterns of violence do not change simply because you are a male in costume claiming to be a female. You still have those same rates of male patterns of violence. And so that's why we're seeing men beating women in female prisons when they're housed with other women, men assaulting women in bathrooms. It's not uncommon. They're not isolated, and they will never debate you on the merits. That's why they have to go to these ad hominem attacks of, oh, well, you're just transphobic. You're just a bigot. This is an isolated incident. They will never, ever, ever debate you on the merits of whether a man magically becomes a woman because he articulates a gender identity. And so these aren't isolated incidents. To answer your question, how many people actually believe this? None of the intelligentsia, nobody in academia actually believes this. Nobody in the medical community actually believes that trans-identified males are women. They all know it's BS. I would say the people who do buy it are probably between 2 and 10%. They're younger generations that have been brainwashed into this. They're people that are probably between the ages of 15 and 22. And maybe they genuinely and authentically believe the veracity of these false statements that are being peddled, but nobody else is believing it. Everyone in the upper echelons of the Democratic Party knows it's a lie. They're being held hostage and blackmailed by these activist groups. They know they have to go along with it. In their hearts, they don't believe any of it. And I think Kamala Harris was kind of a great example of how people saw she didn't really buy into this stuff. She was just kind of peddling it and saying, oh, yeah, I really support transgender rights. It's so false. It rings so false. It comes off as so insincere and disingenuous. So I would say maybe 5% of Americans really believe that men can magically become women. But again, I deal in reality. I think most of us deal in reality, and I think the election showed that.
If you and I were to talk about breeds of dogs, we could, trace back, I don't know if the right word, their genealogy to whatever they started with, wolves, and then we could talk about all the different breeds. Hey, look, here's a Chihuahua. It's the mix of this. Here's a wolf. And we agree that the dog identity is fluid based on biological characteristics. The part that you brought up that is what scares me the most and why I feel so protective of my kids, and I homeschool my kids like you were homeschooled. I don't want ideas that are fake being introduced like they're real. And then reality gets conflated with their thoughts. We deal with a lot of that already. If you say something to someone and they respond to you, you can tell often that they're not responding to what you said. They're responding to their own response to what you said. So I could be like, I don't want the gay flag at my school. And then instead of you just responding to that, you first respond to the fact, oh, I'm dealing with a homophobe. And then you respond. Do you know what I mean? And they don't even know that they added their own piece that's not real to the story. And that's what they're responding to. That part really concerned me of anyone establishing the fact to my kids that Bigfoot is real. And then they get a PhD in Bigfoot and waste 10 years of their life trying to figure out, is Bigfoot have hair? Is he a mammal? Does he have fur? What's he eat? You know what I mean? That's what I feel like the whole gender ideology thing was. Let's make up this fictitious character and then study it. I was like, oh, this is getting weird.
I think a lot of people, there's a huge backlash on this because, like you're pointing out, the truth matters. People care about the truth. The left has really compromised the truth. And if you can lie to us about men being women, you can lie to us about anything. And I think they know that. And I think that's why they've peddled this in higher and lower education. It's a test. They want to see if these people are going to buy the fact that men can magically become women. We can lie to them about anything. And me and you say, hey, the truth matters to us. And I want my kid to live in reality. I don't want him to live in science fiction. I don't want him to live in a suspended reality. I'm sorry if reality sucks for some people that have mental illness. I'm sorry if the truth hurts people that are suffering from gender dysphoria. But I tell you what, it's a lot better than the alternative, because imagine a world where we gave a schizophrenic man who was convinced that the CIA was chasing him, and we said, here's a 9mm gun to protect yourself. We would never do that, because we disabuse him of his delusions, because we know that they're an outgrowth of his mental illness. We would never affirm an anorexic person who tells us he's fat at 75 pounds. We would not say, yes, you are fat at 75 pounds. I'm going to affirm that. Here's a coupon for liposuction. You should go get it so you feel better. We would disabuse him of his fallacious belief. Why then do we not disabuse people suffering from gender dysphoria or who are under the misimpression that they can magically become women? Why do we not disabuse them of that belief and say, hey, you're going through a mental health crisis. You're suffering from gender dysphoria, which is a diagnosable mental illness under the DSM-5, like anorexia, like bulimia, like schizophrenia, like DID, like any thought disorder. Your thoughts are not real, and we need to, go through some kind of a therapy. But for some reason, gender dysphoria and people who claim to be trans are the only mentally ill people who are exempt from being disabused of their false beliefs. And instead, we're being told society not only needs to affirm those false beliefs, you, your wives, and your children need to actively affirm them, actively participate them, and actively participate in their live action role playing. Your wives need to use the restroom with these people so that we affirm their beliefs. Your children need to use the restroom with these people. It is insane. If we said that anorexic and schizophrenic people needed our active participation in their delusions, that the schizophrenic man needs our children and our wives to say, yes, the CIA's right behind you, here they come, we would say, you are out of your mind. But that's what we're doing with these people.
And they started taking it forward. Even I believe that the plus at lesbian, bisexual, gay, tranny, queer, plus, I always believe that the plus is pedophiles.
Exactly. It's minor attracted persons, which for many, many weeks now I've been saying is the next group that, trust me, will be added to the alphabet mafia. Just wait. It's just a matter of time. And what they're going to do is require not only that we affirm these sick people, but that we actively participate in their delusions. Again, you give these people an inch, they'll take a mile. And that's why I think this stuff needs to be eradicated from public life. Most LGBT people do not want the T's with them because they understand that the T's are mentally ill and the LGBs are not. They understand that this is really a cult that does not deal in reality. And most of the LGBs I know want absolutely nothing to do with these people. So yes.
Same here.
I think the MAPs are the minor attracted persons will be added with the T's, and that the left is going to try to convince us to be okay with that. And guess what? They're going to have hell on their hands if they do that.
The part that trips me out the most, like, nothing men do surprises me. You know what I mean? Like, like someone was raped. Like, the article doesn't even say it was a man raping a woman. You just know someone was robbed. You know it was a man. Like, just men are just doing men shit. I can't believe the lesbians are tolerating even a tiny bit of this.
Well,
there's even a tiny bit. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You guys need to riot. And I don't even approve of rioting.
There's a lot of people that are speaking out about it. So you have the people that have been falsely labeled TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists. These people, the radical feminists, are the feminists who actually deal in reality. They acknowledge sex-based differences in sex-based realities. Because they deal in reality, they've been labeled a slur, TERFs. Now, the people that are okay with men invading women's spaces are the liberal feminists. They're the ones that you're talking about that we're disgusted with. Hey, feminists, where are you? These men are exerting male hegemony and male patriarchy in your spaces and erasing your movement. Aren't you upset about this? But I say all of this to say the so-called TERFs are speaking up. They're very mad about this, and they're doing God's work. And so you see people like Sal Grover, who interviewed me, J.K. Rowling, who retweeted my reveal.
Congratulations on that, by the way. That's amazing.
Thank you. All of these so-called radical feminists who deal in reality are calling this out. And Sal Grover just made a great tweet yesterday. She said, all of these men claiming they'll kill themselves if they can't go into women's bathrooms don't underestimate the fact that for many decades, men have been threatening suicide if they can't get their way. And that's all this is. These trans women are men threatening they'll kill themselves if women don't let them into their spaces. And I say to that, you're a mentally ill man. You need to get into therapy and get out of the bathroom.
Well, you're nicer than I am. I would say go ahead, kill yourself. So this is the big story. Elon, I wish Elon would talk about it a little bit more. And I've heard this now from 5 or 6 parents. If you don't affirm your child being trans, they will try to commit suicide. Elon came out and he said that's why he did it, because that's what he transitioned one of his kids because that's what the doctors told him.
Yeah, and I say that speaks, and that is an indictment upon the severity of the mental illness that is gender dysphoria, whatever you want to call it. Whether, you know, a lot of people say, I don't believe in gender dysphoria. I believe trans is a nebulous, amorphous term that isn't really real. Whatever you want to call it, that the fact that they will kill themselves speaks to the fact that they are under a deep mental illness that they need treatment for. And so I think it's okay to be compassionate and empathetic or sympathetic towards these people and say, hey, look, I understand that to you, you're dealing with a mental health crisis and you're having suicidal thoughts. That does not mean I should hack off your genitals. That does not mean I should help 8-year-olds hack off their body parts. If anything, these people need to be protected. Look, when someone's suicidal and schizophrenic, again, I hate to beat a dead horse. We don't say, yes, the CIA is after you. Here's a sword, a knife, and 2 guns. Either kill them or kill yourself. So why are we handing these people medical tools to hack their body parts off? It makes no sense. It's medical negligence, and it goes against the Hippocratic Oath, and I think what most Americans stand for. And I think most Americans are saying, this is ridiculous. Why are we enabling these sick people? It doesn't make sense.
I have a friend who comes on the show regularly, and he said, I don't want to be around any trans people. I'm like, oh, that seems a little harsh. I'm like, I got a friend who comes over and watches the UFC at my house, who's, I mean, he didn't do it the way you did it. We'll talk about the different. You actually introduced an idea to me that I don't know why never popped in my head. We'll get to in a second. Why wouldn't you want to be around any trans people? He goes, hey, dude, I'm a recovered drug addict, and all trans people are drug addicts. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, dude, they're on so many fucking meds to maintain that look. And I was like, wow, you're right. They're all drug addicts. I never even thought of that.
Well, in addition to medically prescribed drugs that doctors are giving, not just adults, but minors that are confused, they're also on illegal drugs. Their rates of illicit drug use are 3 to 10 times higher than the general public. Their rates of sex work are 10 to 20 times higher. Their rates of HIV in the Black trans woman community, the rates of HIV is 60% of all Black trans women have HIV. So this is a public health risk. Aside from the drugs they're being pumped with, they have a mental illness. By definition, they have to have a mental illness to believe this. They're on prescribed drugs, illicit drugs, and most are in sex work. And so it's just, I understand then why your friend doesn't want to be around them. But instead of that, we're being told, not only do you need to affirm these people, you need to worship them. If you don't worship these drug addicts that are mentally ill, you're a horrible person. It is, I think your friend is actually has the moral high ground, and people that say we need to worship and elevate mental illness and drug use are the disgusting ones.
I love how passionate you are about this, by the way. So this autogynephilia, that I hadn't thought of that until I saw your interview with the Pimp on a Blimp, and so there's the cohort that does what you were doing, where they dress as women for sexual arousal, as opposed to the ones that actually try to go through the transition and assimilate.
I would
And
say
what-
the ones who go through the transition also just have a severe case of autogynephilia. But I
No
understand
shit.
your argument.
Oh,
I
okay. I'm fine with that too. The where I was going with this was those are the fuckers that want to have an unquenchable desire to dress as women and go to libraries and read books to our kids. And I was like, holy shit, those are men getting sexually aroused by reading to our kids. For some reason, I didn't piece that together. I just thought they were just mentally ill, but that's exactly what they're doing.
They're trying to make their sexual fetish our truth, our reality, and they want us to praise them for it. And I say, no, how many women who are transitioning to men, so trans men, have you seen reading to kids? Zero.
Right.
How many trans women go to nursing homes and retirement homes for drag story hours or go to adults for drag? It's only trans women going after little kids. And I would argue a lot, if not a majority of these people are suffering from autogynephilia, which is they get turned on at the thought of themselves being women, dressing up as women. Cool. Free country. If you have a sexual fetish, enjoy it in the privacy of your own house. We simply don't want to be told that your science fiction sexual fetish needs to be affirmed as truth, and that we and our wives and our children need to actively participate in it, and that you should be worshiped for it. Keep it at home. Don't bring us and our kids into it. And that's all we're saying. And of course, they would say, oh, you're a transphobic bigot because you don't want to entertain my sexual fetish. And it's absolutely an untenable and ridiculous position that they've taken.
There was a mental procedure or a procedure for a mental disorder, I think it was back in the 50s, called the lobotomy.
Yeah.
And I think quickly they realized, wow, this is fucking barbaric to perform surgery on someone's, mental delusions, right? Their mental illness, use a surgery to try to cure them. This is the same thing, correct? We're hearing, and we look back at lobotomies and we're like, oh my God, that what fucked up humans did that? But we're there again.
We're doing bodily lobotomies on little kids. I mean, let that sink in. Yeah, that's what we're doing. It's disgusting. It's egregious. And I thank God I suffered from anxiety, OCD, and depression since I was 15 years old. I thank God every day I went through that in the late 90s and early 2000s, where doctors weren't lying to me, being told they had to affirm my delusions, that I should kill myself or that I was worthless or whatever I was struggling with. And that they actually said, Josh, you actually have a thought disorder. You're not dealing in reality. We're going to disabuse you of these false beliefs, and we're going to use cognitive behavioral therapy to sort your thoughts out. I thank God that's what I got, instead of, you know what, Josh, I'm here to listen and affirm everything you're saying. Look, that's not what these people need. They need the truth, but they're not only telling these people a lie, they're saying to the rest of the public, you need to indulge in the lie. And everyone's saying, no, we don't. That's all we're saying. And that makes us a bigot, and that makes us transphobes.
Were you raised by your mom and your dad?
I was. And my mom homeschooled me and my two brothers my entire life, with the exception of 1 year. I went to high school as a sophomore. And both my parents raised me. My mom was a stay-at-home mom.
And did your mom go to school?
She went to college for sport, like what at the time was sports recreation, but she was just a stay-at-home mom. And my dad was just a printer at a print shop, but he is very politically oriented. And from the age of 5, I would listen to talk radio and a lot of Rush Limbaugh at the time, who, as I got older, I don't agree with a lot of Rush Limbaugh's views, but there was a lot of things in there that were very prescient and predicted kind of the future that we were going to have if we allowed this leftist ideology to take over. And so from a very young age, I was kind of around politics because of my father.
It's called, look at, it's called LGBTQ lobotomy nowadays. My 10-year-old's obsessed with Charlie Kirk. Obsessed.
Yes, Charlie's good.
Obsessed. He just loves him going to the schools. He loves all the debate stuff.
I like Chris Plant. A lot of people don't know Chris Plant. I think Chris Plant is one of the most hilarious sharp, intellectual, adroit people on the conservative radio today, and he's actually fantastic. Dan Bongino has some good points too, but I think Chris Plant is absolutely phenomenal. He's a former liberal, like a lot of these people, like Tim Pool, like me and you. I was very liberal in college and law school, and was absolutely disgusted by how far these people were willing to live in a suspended reality, and I defected to the middle. So, and now I'm a libertarian, is what I would consider myself.
Did you always you have a beautiful vocabulary? Has it always been that way, or did you get that from your parents? Usually that's gotten from their parents at a young age, or did you get that? Did you work to get that?
Well, my parents yanked my brothers. Both my brothers were in elementary school when I was too young to go. I was like 2 years old. My brothers were in elementary school, and they were being sent home with books like Why Timmy Has Two Daddies and a lot of just propaganda at a very young age. And so my mom and dad yanked them out. And when I came of age to be taught at home, I was reading books like a lot of Charles Dickens and a lot of British authors and things like that. And so just through reading the kind of books that I was given, I think I developed a good vocabulary. And then going to, undergrad and law school helped. But I also kind of memorized a dictionary over a summer when I was 18 years old and going to community college. I memorized a dictionary and just knew that having a good vocabulary and lexicon was going to pay dividends in the future. And so a lot of those words, I guess, kind of come from that.
There's this statement that I don't think people realize how true it is. Lao Tzu wrote it in the Tao Te Ching. Naming is the origin of all particular things. There's very truer things that have ever been said. And that's what people don't realize, that people with huge vocabularies and the ability to use words can actually just straight up fucking conduct reality. And we've been really, there's been some amazing examples of it in the last 10 years. One of them, which we're talking about right now, gender. You use the words, you start defining them, you can start defining reality.
Well, look, a common refrain from Sal Grover is words matter, right? Truth matters. Words matter. No, that is not a woman. That is not a woman in that woman's sports right there. That is a man. Don't tell us who cares. Don't tell us you're being a bigot. Don't tell us don't you have something to obsess over. Words matter. And if you use the wrong words, we are going to correct you. That is not a woman. That is a 6'5" trans-identified man. And how you call them matters, because when you call them the wrong thing, you erase women. It's a zero-sum game. You cannot call a man a woman without actively harming women at the same time and doing something that militates against women. So for them to act like these kind of misnamings happen in a vacuum where nobody's hurting, what would it hurt you to just be kind and compassionate? I'll tell you why. Because words matter and the truth matters. And it's important that we recognize that. And I think it's great you're homeschooling your kids for that very reason.
You mentioned earlier, how are you on time?
I'm great. We can go as long as you want.
Okay. See that, Caleb? That means we're bonding. Thank you. He gave me a thumbs up back there. You mentioned at 15 you went through something, and you said you went through some sort of course to unfuck your thinking. What was that?
Yeah. So at 15, I started having a lot of what was manifesting was probably latent OCD, anxiety, and depression. I had
what's OCD? Like, what does that manifest as? Like, I know that what it stands for, but what's it like? How do you know you have it? Is it some sort of physical shit, like washing your hands, or?
Not always. I have pure OCD, which comes without the physical manifestations of it. So I don't have to touch a doorknob 20 times or whatever. I have obsessive thoughts that get stuck in my head that are on a medical, clinical level. Lots of people have obsessive thoughts. Lots of people colloquially say, oh, I have OCD. I have it at a clinical level. I actually have OCD and depression and anxiety. And it took many, many months and years to kind of flush out and elucidate exactly what was going on with me. But now, as a 37-year-old man, I know and can say confidently I have these things, but labels don't really matter, right? At the end of the day, it's just a thought disorder. It doesn't matter if you call it bipolar 1, bipolar 2, depression without the mania. None of that matters. They're thought disorders, and how we can treat thought disorders, to answer your question, one way is through cognitive behavioral therapy or talk therapy. This used to be called rational emotive behavior therapy, and that was invented by Albert Ellis, the founder of psychotherapy. And so what that does is it just says that through thinking and cogitation and rumination, we upset ourselves because we think this is so terrible. What cognitive behavioral therapy teaches us is no event is objectively terrible. It's our thinking and interpretation of the event that upsets us. So being stuck in traffic is not objectively terrible, but we get upset because of our thinking about being stuck in traffic. So the great news is we upset ourselves. And what that means is we can unupset ourselves through fixing our faulty thinking or catastrophic thinking. And so when an event happens, instead of catastrophizing over it, we can identify our catastrophic thoughts, reassemble them so that we go, you know what, being stuck in traffic is not awful or terrible. It just is, and life will go on. And we can do that with anything. Oh my God, I fell on my face in front of a crowd. It's awful and terrible. No, you know what? Falling on my face is just a thing. It's not awful or terrible, and life will go on. And so if you actively use this over a number of months and years, it becomes very effective at helping you unupset yourself. And so that's all cognitive behavioral therapy is, and I've been using it for a number of years.
The guy who wrote this pocket edition of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, his name's Stephen Mitchell, and he's married to a woman named Byron Katie. And she has a program called, it's either the 4 steps or the 5 steps. But one of the steps in there is, who would you be without that thought?
Exactly.
And it's interesting because you're describing also like what all the mystics say also. You know, there's I think Eckhart Tolle said this, where you're laying in bed and you hear a car alarm going off, and you're saying the car alarm is making you upset, but it's not the car alarm that's making you upset. It's the story you're telling yourself about the car alarm, which is it's keeping me awake and I'm going to be late for work. And the first step of that, though, would to be first be conscious of your thoughts.
Yes,
which
requires that. Yep.
Which really is just meditation, right? Just being able to watch something. Whether you're in a 5% meditative state or 100% where you're just turned completely into the watcher. But did you already have the ability to see your thoughts so that you, instead of reacting to them, you could create that little bit of space and not react to them? Or did you have to learn to create that little bit of space?
I think I was predisposed and had a predilection towards self-awareness and being self-conscious of things. And so that helped. But if you don't have that predilection, you have to create it. And you do. You have to be self-aware. You have to be capable of self-reflection and thinking about your thoughts and about your thought process. And a lot of people struggle with that. I was lucky. I'm able to do that for whatever reason, whether it's nature or nurture. My father struggled from a lot of things, in particular ADHD, and he was incapable. I can say he's passed. He was incapable of thinking about his thinking, analyzing his faulty thinking, trying to identify it, and trying to fix it. So it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, and it does require it. And you using the word meditations is very apropos, because it actually, a lot of this CBT comes from the book Meditations, written by Marcus Aurelius, which is Stoicism. And it says no external event upsets you. It's your thinking about that event that does. So if people just go and read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, I think that is a very helpful book and will do a lot in helping you combat these thoughts without having to go through so-called CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy.
What do you think about, I'm going to give you an example. You're driving down the road and someone cuts you off and you flip them off, or someone flips you off and you flip them off back. And there are these times, meditate. I'm going to get this audiobook, of course. I want to explain to people what that space is. That space is when you catch yourself before you put your finger up and you don't actually do it. And you're like, okay, that guy flipped me off And if my automatic reaction, if I'm just on autopilot, if I'm just a computer, is to flip them off back. But I can take a deep breath here and watch my mind, and then that goes away. And for me, I love moments like that because they're always times to practice, and I can kind of like get a little ego trip on it because I catch myself, and then I'll wave, sorry. And it changes the whole trajectory. And then they usually wave back, and it changes the whole trajectory. It's of my reality. But would you agree with that thing? Would you say that's a good word? Space, that you need to create space instead of reacting.
Yes, and a lot of times if I do get the middle finger, that tells me right away, it sends a signal, Josh, you're not practicing CBT, because if you were, you would not have been upset enough to flip that person off. And so that's kind of a sign to me that, hey, I'm not practicing this, because it does require a conscious effort every day to do it, but it becomes second nature and it does become natural. Now, what Albert Ellis argues, who is the founder of all of this, what he argues in his book, How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable About Anything. Yes, anything. That is the title of his book that I would encourage everyone to read.
Say the title again.
How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable About Anything. Yes, anything, by Albert Ellis.
Okay, great.
So in that book, he talks a lot about that space where you need to catch yourself falling into your faulty patterns. You need to identify the faulty thinking and the catastrophic thinking leading you to your upsetness, and you need to reorganize your thoughts so that you can understand that actually that event is not awful or terrible. It just is, and life will go on. And then your emotional response, which in your example would be the middle finger, your emotional response will be brought down almost immediately. And so that is the space between the activating event, A, and your emotional response, E. That is the space you're actually talking about. So you are actually identifying one of the steps that Albert Ellis lays out in his book.
In CrossFit, when you're working out, the workout might be, a 20-minute workout. And I don't know if you're familiar with CrossFit, but it'll be like, hey, do 6 pull-ups, 6 push-ups, and 6 air squats on a cycle for 20 minutes. And throughout the work, and as we all know, when we work out, you'll start hearing these thoughts, hey, take a rest, take a break. And one of the ways that I used to, and I still do it, is instead of taking a break, it's like, hey, I set a rule for myself. I need to hear it 3 times. So I need to hear it the first time and then pass through it, and my brain wanders to something else. Then I need to hear it a second time, and then I let that go. And then I need to hear it a third time. But I always need to hear it at least 3 times before I'll react to it, before I'll give it play. And there's places you can practice this all over. That what you said though is fantastic. If you flip someone off back or you catch yourself reacting, oh shit, I've fallen asleep.
Well, Albert Ellis points out, and I have all of this laid out in all of my highlights in my bio on Instagram. My story highlights are all there in my profile, and they walk you through everything me and you are talking about with cognitive behavioral therapy, or what he called REBT. What he talks about is that we were conditioned from being these troglodytic cavemen. We had to have a fear response. In that button, that fear response in the fear cycle was, hey, we need to protect our life and limb. So whenever we are triggered or we see an activating event, it is not only natural, but in our genetics and in our DNA to overreact and have a heightened response, because we didn't always live in the civilized modern society. At one point, humans were just cavemen fighting for survival. So what Albert Ellis says is actually our response to being triggered by events is totally normal. We have been conditioned for thousands of years to have an overreaction to stimuli. What we need to do is realize we live in a civilized society, a mostly safe society, and we no longer need that huge red warning button when something happens. And so we need to bring our response down because of how we're living now in 2024, or when the book was written in the 1970s. And so that response that we have, that overreaction, is simply from thousands of years of being conditioned as primitive humans to overreact when we see an animal, but we don't need to do that anymore because we're no longer living with these violent animals that are going to kill us. So I say all of that to say our emotional response, we are hardwired to have an outsized emotional response. And all of cognitive behavioral therapy is bringing that emotional response down to proper levels that match the safety that we have in a modern society.
So the woke crowd, one of the characteristics you just described is the opposite of that.
Yes.
They're absolutely stuck in an emotional response at all times.
Exactly. It goes against the precepts and the tenet of everything I have learned. Now, my therapist, who taught me a lot of this, he despises the left for that exact reason. He actually went off on them, and I was shocked because he's my therapist. He's one of the best in the world. He's helped over 30,000 people suffering from just OCD alone. And he hates the left because they view everything with this outsized emotional response that is disproportionate and not appropriate to what's happening. I am a victim. I am incapable. I can't do anything. It is the opposite of the philosophy of Stoicism that says, I can be anything. Nothing can disturb me. No event disturbs me. No event victimizes me. I am not merely a victim. I am not merely a product of the worst circumstances that have happened to me. I can control my destiny. I can control my response. And so I think people like me and you and libertarians in general, we have more of the Stoicism philosophy going through life. And the left has a very counterproductive, pernicious, and just horrible life philosophy, which says you are a victim to anything that happens. If someone posts something you don't like on another continent, you're a victim because of it and you can't accomplish anything. And so not only my libertarian ethic, but cognitive behavioral therapy teaches me that is a lie and that is not true.
And you can observe it. You can observe it. You don't have to take anyone's word on it. You can observe it. You can practice it.
Yep.
When this term non-playable character, NPC, when it first came on, I couldn't really grasp it. And then someone explained it to me. There was this game when I was a kid called Paperboy, and it always started the same. You were on a bike and you threw papers and delivered papers, and there was like bees that chased you or guys that ran out in front of your bike. But you learned the game because it's the same things happening over and over. So at the 2-minute mark, or as you cross the fire hydrant, a fire truck's going to come. Yeah, this game, right? I don't know if you remember this game, but you ride a bike around a neighborhood and you deliver papers. But there's these characters in there, and all they do are the same things, right? It's like a dog always comes out and chases you on the same path. Someone's always walking back and forth. And I think what we're describing here is those people who don't have any space in between, or they have zero meditative capabilities, zero capability to watch. That's where the term non-playable character comes, because all they do, and that's the matrix. They're in the matrix. They've been programmed, and then all they do is react appropriately to what the dominant program that's being run on the NPCs is at that time.
Which is what the intelligentsia on the left wants. They want a bunch of people that are emotional, that have a visceral reaction to anything the left tells them they should have a visceral reaction to. So it's called Pavlovian conditioning because of Pavlov's experience, where you're classically conditioned to run over to something when you hear a sound. The left has conditioned their cult members to have a specific response to specific words and specific things they say. And that is what they want. And that's terrible. That's a terrible way to live. And I'm glad that many of us reject that and say, no, actually, I don't need to have that visceral response. I'm going to have a meditative response where I do not allow that external event to cause me to go running towards something or running away from something. And again, I think our choice is these two philosophies. Do you want to be a victim of circumstance? If so, join the left cult. Do you not want to be a victim of circumstance? Do you want to have agency? Do you want to have freedom? Join libertarians or join people who have a rightward bent. But those are our choices in life. And I ask anyone, which philosophy is working for you? Are you finding happiness and success and freedom being a cult member of the left? If so, good for you. But I don't think it works as a life philosophy, much less a political philosophy.
Were you disappointed at all and Ryan Holiday, Sam Harris, Marianne Williamson, Deepak Chopra, and the other so-called gurus when COVID came and we saw that they couldn't hold the space?
I mean, what specifically did they do that?
Just weighing in on telling people to take the injection, telling people that criticizing people, locking themselves up. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. But where they went too far is criticizing people who were holding the space, right? Criticizing people who were like, hold on a second. What is exactly going on here? Take a few deep breaths. Government mandated drugs, only fat old people dying. Like there were some of us who were like, oop, hold on a second. And they didn't, but not only did they jump on board, but they Sam Harris ridiculed Rogan. Ryan Holiday has the most ironic tattoo on him. It says, I forget, it's like, don't act or something on his wrist. I forget what it is, but it's like, motherfucker, you got a tattoo that says don't act? Like, how about when you went to go get that tattoo? But was there, or Marianne Williamson, I don't know if you know who that is, but she's okay, she ran for president, but she's a self-professed love everyone. She locked herself up right away for 2 months in a condominium in New York City and started Instagramming about the end of the world. Are you surprised when some of these people fall? I mean, did you see great people fall asleep at the wheel?
Well, I always look askance at people that tell us that we need to be fearful, right? And the left peddles this a lot. You're incapable. You're nothing without our help. You should be scared of all of these invisible mega people running around that are supposedly committing violence. Anytime they're telling me that I should be fearful or scared, I go, something fishy's going on here. So when I saw just kind of that level of rhetoric telling us, oh my God, everyone's going to die if you don't get this injection, don't worry about the fact that we're giving a financial windfall to preferred pharmaceutical companies. Don't bother yourself with that. Just trust us. You know, it really smacked of Tuskegee Syphilis Institute project where, you know, people are being told that, you know, this is going on. And then you find out years later, really it wasn't. And it was all an experiment. I was highly suspicious of all of this to begin with. And I don't live my life based on fear. Going back to our prior discussion, that's just not how I live my life. And COVID was no different. And like you pointed out, if you have comorbidities and you have diabetes and you're 350 pounds, then maybe you should take extra measures like staying inside and staying away from large crowds, like, I don't know, BLM rioters that are being told to go out and riot from the left. Maybe don't go over to them because you might get spittle on you and you might get sick because you're 350 pounds because the body positivity movement told you that was okay. But other than these people, most of us, the majority of us, didn't need to lock ourselves in a cellar for the next 2 years, but that's what they were telling us we needed to do. My father wholly rejected it. He said, I'd rather die than live out the next 2 years locked in my house. That's kind of my philosophy. And as it turned out, I think history vindicated a lot of us. I never got vaccinated. I never would. I think it's a scam. I think it was a con. And I think we saw with Johnson & Johnson and a lot of other companies that ended up admitting that their shot was unsafe. We have been vindicated. You know, they say the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is about 6 months. And so I just don't live my life that way. So yes, anybody that was locking themselves away or kind of saying, hey, we need to take a step back and listen to the government. I don't like those kind of people. I'm never going to live my life that way. And we saw it was really just a power grab by the left and by Democrats. And we saw that it was all political because they weren't okay with you visiting your grandmother. You might kill all of America. But if there were 20,000 of you that wanted to go protest in the street without masks on, that was totally fine because, you know, BLM. And so I think a lot of people saw right through it. They saw it was BS. They saw it was all political. They saw it was a tool to control us. They saw what was going on in Canada with Justin Trudeau, where because people don't have gun rights, they were being locked into their homes and there was nothing they could do about it. And they had very draconian and stringent rules that the populace was forced to go along with. I think it awoke a lot of people, and I'll have to admit that's when I became a lot more political, when I saw the lengths our government was willing to go to grab more power under the guise of you should be fearful. I just don't like that. I think that's a weak argument.
Did you have? Would you say that was your red pill moment? COVID?
Red pill, I would say the red pill would be more apt like 8 years ago. I started noticing, so I became very liberal in undergrad because all of my professors, with the exception of maybe one, was very liberal in the sociology and poli-sci departments. In law school, most of my professors were pretty liberal, and the stuff we were learning was pretty left leaning if you had to categorize it. It was a few years after that when I started to see Democratic politicians lying to our face and saying, don't believe your lying eyes. That man is a woman. Don't believe your lying eyes. It's mega people committing all the crime, not blacks in urban areas. Don't believe your lying eyes. These things aren't going on. I took it as an insult, and I thought they thought I was stupid, and I didn't like it. And so my red pill moment, I would say, was more like 7 years ago, when I was about 30 years old. But I would say COVID for sure made me realize, wow, like it's so clear now that the left will say and do anything and twist words and contradict themselves and be very hypocritical just to stay in power. And I didn't like that.
Hey, what was your relationship like with your parents when you left home and went to college and started becoming a libtard? And then are they excited that you're back?
Yeah, so I had a lot. My dad was very outspoken. Like I said, he's been a pretty hardcore conservative since I was 4 years old, listening to Rush Limbaugh in the car. So I started challenging him on a lot of things when I was in my early 20s because I took a race and ethnicity class. So suddenly I thought, oh, you know what? Actually, 6% of the population isn't committing 60% of the violent crime. That's all a lie by white people. And my dad, to his credit, disabused me of that and was like, no, actually, it's a fact. African-American men commit 60% of the violent crime in this country. The unified crime statistics do not lie. And so we had a lot of arguments because of that. Now, I started to come around, like I said, in about 2018, 2019, right before COVID. And then during COVID, me and my father bonded over our mutual disgust of Biden's administration and of left rhetoric in them allowing tens of thousands of people to riot in the streets and burn down cities. We were utterly disgusted by it, claiming to be for the small man and for small businesses, but at the same time allowing groups of animals to destroy these small businesses. We were both utterly disgusted watching that. And so me and my dad—
40% of black-owned businesses were destroyed during COVID.
Really?
40% of small businesses owned by black owners destroyed during COVID from the people who say that they're for melanated people.
Yeah, and
insane statistic.
And
Insane.
CNN never, ever put an Indian immigrant small business owner on TV whose business had been burned down by blacks. CNN would never put a black small business owner on TV whose business had been burned down by blacks. And look, you can lie by lying, and you can also lie by omission, by not showing things. And I realized pretty soon that the media, corporate media, mainstream media, was shaping a narrative and lying to our faces by omitting many things that were happening. They don't have to lie overtly to lie. They can lie through omission by not showing black people rioting in the street and burning down Indian immigrants, Korean immigrants, and West African immigrants' businesses. Why aren't you showing that? They will not show anything that does not bode well for the official narrative or the official mantra. And I was disgusted by that. So me and my dad bonded over our mutual disgust of it. And then my father passed away in August of 2021 during the lockdowns. Not from COVID. He died of a heart attack. So.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. That's crazy. You're very lucky that you did bond with your father.
Yeah.
I can't speak. My parents won't speak to me on any of these subjects. So you're pretty lucky. Going to tie all that up, what you just said, here's the classic example. I pull it up all the time on the show. Words matter. This is a 400-pound, 16-year-old boy who they said took precautions and is healthy. He's so obese that his ears are recessed in his head. And yet CNN says it's a healthy teenager who took precautions. Your eyes aren't lying to you. He was going to die anyway. He's not healthy, and he wasn't taking precautions.
Another thing is the way they shamelessly shape the narrative around police and black encounters. They always like to use the term unarmed, but then fail to mention the fact that this person was violently fighting with cops, may have been like George Floyd on fentanyl, weed, meth, marijuana, and tried to pass a bad $20 bill. And then if you actually watch the video, like I did, because I don't trust the media, fought with the cops and refused to listen to them for 20 minutes. Then he died of myocardial infarction because of the 5 illicit drugs he ingested in himself. But the media doesn't mention any of that. The title just reads, "Unarmed Black Man Murdered by Police." Well, that's beyond misleading. That's an intentional lie. And you see this happen all the time with the media. They're constantly downplaying things that the offender is doing and trying to make it look like a bunch of white supremacist cops are going around and murdering black people. And then when you actually take the time to watch the 2-minute video for yourself, like, I don't know, with Michael Brown walking in the middle of the street after he strong-armed robbed a store owned by an immigrant, and then he's walking in the middle of the street, and then he reaches for the cop's gun after ignoring him, a number of his commands. Then the cop is forced to shoot him, and then this disgusting, disingenuous headline everywhere from the mainstream media says, "Unarmed Black teen murdered by cops." A lot of that, if I would say anything is responsible for why I am so passionate and believe what I believe, it's the way they have tried to frame the narrative around hardworking cops and a criminal class. That upsets me.
Not to, you're right. He you can see the video. He robbed and punked
Yes.
an immigrant who was working, the 100 hours a week to keep his store open.
Yep.
But not only that, he was 6'5", 300 pounds
Correct.
and reached into a fucking cop's car.
Correct.
I mean, and even his own friend testified that, hey, after he came and charged the cop after the cop shot him once. It's the whole thing is crazy. Do you know Liz Collins, the woman who made the movie The Fall of Minneapolis?
I believe I might have watched the movie, but I don't know who she is specifically beyond making the movie.
She's over at Alpha News. She's amazing. I'm going to try to get her. She has a new movie called Minnesota versus We the People. I'm going to push your contact to her.
That'd be great.
You would love speaking with her. She's brilliant. She's done so much great work.
I'm more passionate about the police and offender issue than I am anything having to do with trans issues or anything else. I think what the media has done is absolutely despicable. The fact that they call themselves journalists is egregious.
Let me ask you a sensitive subject for a lot of people. This, when we say, you're the only other person, by the way, besides me, I've ever heard use that term 6%. Because it is, and people are always like, no, 16 or 13% of the population is black. I'm like, I'm not talking about blacks. I'm talking about black males. You're the only other person. But sometimes when I refer to people as black, I get concerned because I'm playing their game, because I know skin color is just a correlate. It's not a causation. And I know that we arbitrarily break people up into demographics. And so do you ever feel like you're obligated to say that like, hey, you're not shooting people and drinking Sprite and eating Doritos because your skin color is black, but because of the culture you've fallen into. And it's just like you're not a fucking neurosurgeon because you're fucking Chinese. It's just part of your culture.
Correct. As you said, there's not a causal link. It's more correlative. So I would say the causal link is the culture.
Right.
So that is what is causing people. It's the lack of 2-parent households. It's the 70% born out of wedlock rates that did not exist, 70 years ago. Thomas Sowell is one of the most brilliant African-American men to ever exist on the right. And he has written a number of books that I have read that I would encourage anyone to read. Thomas Sowell, Sowell, laying out exactly the fall of the black community and what has happened, because a lot of the issues that are happening today were not happening right after Jim Crow. Can you imagine that? Right after the existence of Jim Crow laws, none of these things were happening. Well, why is that? Because racism was at an all-time high back then. even de jure racism that was codified into the laws. Well, what's changed? Well, Thomas Sowell decided to do the research, and he found that it's the dissolution of intact nuclear families in a poisonous, toxic culture that has led to the issues we're seeing today. Actually, as racism has gone down, the issues in the Black community have gone up. So there's not a causative link between racism and the issues plaguing the Black community. So yes, the issue is not their pigment. Pigment does not cause you to be violent. Culture that you're brought up in and a lack of two-parent homes can lead to a lot of things in any race. And so if you have a toxic culture like the African American community does, it's no shocker that they're dealing with a lot of crime and a lot of violence that other people who experience more racism and discrimination aren't experiencing. You don't see it in the Hispanic communities. You don't see it in the Indian communities. You don't see it in the Muslim communities. You don't see it in any community other than the African. You don't even see it in the West African communities or the West Indian people that immigrated here or the other African people that immigrated here. Only among African Americans. Why? They're all facing all the same racism and discrimination. We've now controlled for it. Because African Americans have a toxic culture, and the left has done a lot to exacerbate and worsen that culture.
If words matter, then should we not call them Black? Should we refer to it as the 6% that participate in Black culture?
Well, the left loves identity politics. The left loves balkanizing and dividing everyone and breaking every single person down to their pigmentation, their sexual orientation, and their gender identity. So I actually love calling people out by exactly what they are because the left taught us that's what we have to do. You're not a human. You're a Black queer man. So I'll call it how I see it. Black men, not MAGA, are committing 60% of the violence. Black men are committing almost all of the murders in Chicago. Black men are committing almost all of the carjackings here in Chicago. Black men are committing almost all of the crash and grabs here in Chicago. It's not white hillbillies wearing MAGA hats. It's Black men. But the media doesn't like to show that, at least the mainstream media. But luckily, the local media shows these thugs doing what they do day in and day out and terrorizing the rest of us civilized humans. And so I'm grateful for the local media, but the mainstream media won't report on it because it goes against the official narrative they're trying to peddle.
The in one of Thomas's books, Sowell's books, I can't remember which one. I listened to it on audio. He basically says there is no such thing as Black culture in the United States. It's actually white trash hillbilly
it's a redneck culture.
Exactly. Yeah, the redneck culture.
Shows how. Yep.
They've appropriated it.
They've appropriated it. And guess what? They're getting the same results.
Right. But let me read this really quick. Jody Lynn. Hi, Jody. Good morning. My kids were Rush Limbaugh babies. Then they went to college. I'm still waiting their prodigal return to the fold. There's openness. Sevon was late 40s when he figured it out. Yeah, it took me. It took me a long. It took me a long time. And like you, I had a I don't know if this is the right word, predilection or the ability to always to create tons of space. And stay still. But even with that, it wasn't enough until I got around the right people who could start filling that space with some good stuff, basically libertarians, basically real science. People started teaching me science. What's the predictive value of this? What do these numbers say? What's the relativity? What's the context? So when I created that space, I still needed to be around the right people to fill it. It wasn't enough just to create the space for me.
The left knows that matters. The left knows that open information and open communication and open dialogue and an open dialectic, it has an edifying effect in that it educates people. They don't like that because they don't want the truth in facts, in reality, to come out because they know if people's eyes are open, they're going to go, the left is peddling a bunch of bullshit. And that's why you see a lot of censorship, a lot of trying to shut down the conversation through this game of, oh, you're a bigot, oh, you're a racist, oh, reality's transphobic, reality's racist. All of this is because they're smart and they know that the open communication that helped open me and your eyes and that space we needed to see reality and see the truth is transformative. And they don't want that space to exist. And so they do a lot and invest a lot of time in shutting that space down so people's eyes aren't opened.
when you embarked on this experiment, did you talk to your shrink or consult anyone ahead of
No.
time? No.
No, and you know what? Yeah, and I did not tell him. The only people who knew about it was about 4 or 5 very close people to me, and I have one person that I kind of work in concert with all the time, brainstorming and bouncing ideas off of each other. And so before I would ever post, I would talk to this person, say, hey, what do you think of this idea? What do you think if I just call out the trans community, they're going to say you're a transphobic bigot and shut down the conversation. They're not going to debate me on the merits of anything because they'll lose, and they know that, and they're smart. But what if I infiltrate the movement, show how stupid it all is by following the guidelines perfectly to a T, and then expose it for the mockery it is from the inside out like a mole? And they can't say anything. And if anyone criticizes me, I'll say they're a transphobic bigot. And he goes, you know what? That's genius. And so I had a few close friends like that. But other than that, no one else was aware of what I was doing.
Not even your mom?
No, my family was aware of things that were going on, but I was not actively including them in any dialogue or conversation about what I was doing.
And you had 2 younger siblings?
I have 2 older siblings. Yeah.
2 older. And did they call you, hey Josh, what the fuck's up, dude?
I don't talk to one of them. And then the other one, we're estranged. The other one, he has a good sense of humor, so he appreciated everything.
What are you going to do next? What is your what are you driving for next? Do you have goals? Are you working on anything?
Yeah, so I've been approached by one of the largest conservative media companies in the world to participate in a new film. So we're going to start filming for that on Thursday. I'm very excited about that and honored to be a part of that. I've been going on a lot of podcasts like yours and others to continue the conversation that I started. Like I said before, I just wanted to start a conversation. I feel like the best bulwark against tyranny in a democratic society is free speech. We should be allowed to call a man and not have that shut down and censored. And so I wanted to open the dialogue that I thought was lacking. And so I want to continue that dialogue by talking as me, Josh Seiter, about these things, not just trans issues, but issues about race, issues about anything else that's going on that I think is harmful to our country. And so I just want to keep talking about that. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have an interview tonight with Angela Belcamino and a ton of interviews for the upcoming weeks. And so I'm really just focused on that in the film, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I'm embracing it all. And I kind of just live each day as it comes. So I'm excited for what the future has in store for me.
How did you see my DM? Your DMs must be just fucking absolutely insane and a mess.
Yeah.
How did you see it?
Yeah, so I always check my DMs, which might surprise some people. I got, my videos got hundreds of millions of views. I think 120 million views if you look at the views on all the videos combined on Instagram. And on Twitter, I've only had Twitter for a month, and I'm already over 100 million views on my stuff there. So you add it up, it's 250 million views. And with that, I've gotten tens and tens of thousands of messages. But I always check my inbox. I check my filtered inbox. I check my email, and I'm always on the lookout. And so if anyone ever has something that looks credible and legitimate that has to do with discussing these topics, I'm never going to miss it. And so I saw your message and I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to talk about this.
Well, man, I really appreciate it. Hey, are you training these days?
Like fitness?
Yeah.
Yeah, I work out like 5 to 6 days a week, and then I do cardio every single day. I try to walk 4 to 8 miles a day, sometimes 10 miles.
And when you walk, do you have like is it like, hey, I'm going to walk to this coffee shop 3 miles away, get a coffee,
Yes.
you're making phone calls.
Yes.
It's kind of like, yeah, okay. Yep. I love it. And what are you doing for training?
So I go to the gym. I just go to Planet Fitness. I like LA Fitness, but there's not always one when I'm traveling. I travel with some frequency to see family and for work and podcasts, other things. So Planet Fitness is very convenient. So I just go to Planet Fitness. I do about 50 minutes to an hour of weights. And then I do 25 minutes on the treadmill. I threw out my back, my L4, L5 in February of last year. So I was actually bedridden. And that is where I came up with the idea to do the trans troll and expose the left, because I was laying in my bed 15 hours a day, every day for 3 weeks, looking at the TV and watching these morons peddle lies on CNN and everywhere else. And I said, I can't move, but I have a phone and I have social media. I need to do something about this. And I'm glad that I did that. So anyways, because I'm nursing a bad back, I tend to do lighter weights, but I would say that I'm at about 90% now, and then I'll go back to kind of heavier lifting.
Do you do free weights, or are you on the machines? Like, do you do back squats and front squats, and do you do any dynamic movements? Like, do you do any cleans or any explosive movements?
Because of the back injury, I do nothing, and I try not to honestly go over 25-pound dumbbells unless it's chest and shoulders, and then I'll go up to like 50-pound dumbbells. But the days of 100-pound dumbbells on chest are over.
Yeah. It's interesting that you stayed in bed for 3 weeks. I've been nursing a bad back since I jumped off a roof on mushrooms in college. But for me, if I stayed in bed my thing was always, what I would always do is I would get some sort of, I would take like 2 Vicodin, drink a bottle of wine, and there's this muscle relaxer I would take, and then I would force myself to get up and walk.
Same.
Because I felt like the longer I needed to do, or I would just go in the shower and put it so hot that it burned my skin, and then ice it. And because I was, if you were doing the thing, it sounds like yours was as bad as mine sometimes, where you actually had to like crawl and pee in the shower. Like you were so injured you couldn't even get on a toilet.
I was stuck at a 90-degree angle. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I take the cyclobenzaprine muscle relaxer, and after 3 weeks of laying in bed 15 hours a day, I did physical therapy for months, and my physical therapist cleared me. She said, it hurts. It feels like the end of the world. It's not. You've herniated something there.
Yeah. It does feel like the end of the world.
It does. But I just kept forcing myself to walk, and I walked every day for the last 10 months with severe pain, and finally doing all my physical therapy, it's almost at a negligible level now.
Yeah, mine pretty much only hurts when I wake up every morning.
Yeah. And
then I drink a couple cups of coffee, I do this podcast, and then about an hour after that, I'm pain free for the rest of the day. But I do CrossFit, and basically anything I'm gonna do, I just look at the women's. I used to try to do the men's weights. Now I look at the women's weights, and then I cut them in half. Just go super duper light. And I've been not pain-free, but injury-free, I don't know, for 4 years now.
Well, and that's all that matters. And actually, if you just articulate a gender identity that differs from your biological sex, you magically become a woman, and then you don't have to feel bad about using the women's weights. That's how it works. Yeah, that's how reality and science works. Just trust the science on
that. Does Josh promise his genes? I don't know what that means. You know what that means? Oh. I hope it's some sort of gay dig. Okay. Real quick. When you did that therapy, why didn't your mom did they try to put you on drugs?
Yes, dude, I've been on every drug under the sun with,
oh, they did try that too.
Yeah. And none of it did anything. None of it worked. You know what? After years and years, when I finally found cognitive behavioral therapy and this kind of stoicism that I was taught with REBT, that helped tremendously in combination with having a purpose and a meaning in life, a passion, and having exercise and having diet and having a network of friends. So it's all of these moving parts taken together that have kind of helped in my recovery. A book that I would recommend to anybody is Man's Search for Meaning. And that really complements all the other stuff we've been talking about with CBT. And what it says is, aside from upsetting ourselves, lots of us face this kind of existential vacuum where we feel meaningless, we feel unmoored, we feel like we have no purpose. And what gives people a sense of meaning, not necessarily happiness, but a sense of meaning and purpose every day, is to have a passion, something that they're working towards. And that book right there by Viktor Frankl was instrumental in helping in my recovery alongside cognitive behavioral therapy.
90,000 ratings. So many people have come on here and recommended that book. Does Josh iron his jeans?
No, I use a steamer or I use wrinkle release because I'm lazy.
Wow. But you nailed it, Jan. Wow.
And I use that for my dresses too. I get all my dresses at thrift stores. I was really pushing the envelope when they said your clothes, don't dictate your gender. I would get the ugliest outfits, and I would usually not iron them so that it would get more engagement from people and piss more people off. So I'd wear a lot of unironed clothes.
What's the most expensive outfit you bought?
So I would go to a thrift store and get most of them for like $3 to $10, but I did start going to Target at the end and then returning them. So I got a $50 jean overalls, and the video got like 750,000 views. So I'm grateful it did fairly well. And then I just returned the jean overalls the next day and got all my money back. So that was the biggest purchase.
Hey, dude, I'm sure you know who Ruben is from the Ruben Report.
I've heard of the Ruben Report. I've never watched it.
Okay. Worth following on Instagram. You remind me of him so much. It's crazy. You have a crazy future. I hope we can stay in contact. You are a delight to talk to. What an amazing, articulate, fucking. I just feel honored to talk to you. It's just your thinking is so clean and precise. I really respect you, brother.
Wow, thank you, man. Well, it takes a great interlocutor like yourself to bring that out of me. So I'm not always, this passionate, but having someone to have a great dialogue with definitely facilitates that and helps. So I thank you for having me on and for being a great partner with me in this. And I think these are all very important issues, and that's why I did this, because I don't like to see dialogue just kind of disappear from public life. It's important that we disagree. It's important that we have arguments. It's important that we discuss these things, because like every intelligent man that's come out before us has said, the truth always comes out brighter in the light of free speech, and lies fester in the darkness. So there is never an excuse to censor people. There's never an excuse to shut down a conversation. You cannot say, oh, well, that's transphobic or that's racist, so we're just going to shut this down now. That is not how you defeat truly bad ideas. Free dialogue is necessary to any democracy. It's necessary for any kind of just the truth to just come out. You need to have open dialogue. And I feel like because of the left, that's gone away a lot lately. So I'm glad that me and you could kind of reignite that today. So
thank you. And hope to have you back on when the movie comes out, if not sooner.
I'll come back anytime you want.
Awesome, brother. Thank you. Have a great day. Stay warm in Chicago if it's cold, like it's already gotten cold here in California.
It's already gotten cold. I'll do that.
All right, dude. Have a great day.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Josh Seiter. Hey, dude, it was like talking to a mirror. It was like the gay version of me.
I had the exact same thought. It's the same thing.
Holy shit, this guy is. Me and him have reprogrammed ourselves. Every single thing he was passionate about, I was passionate about. I was like, holy shit.
I've never heard anybody else say the same shit that you say, so that was kind of funny.
Wow. Wow, I'm in love.
Yeah, that was cool.
Damn. David Weed, damn, you too was cute. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, David, do you know who Michael Todd is, the arm wrestler? You kind of look like him. Yeah, he's a little gayer than me. Josh is a little gayer than me, yeah.
That guy, he had me fooled for the longest. It just kind of lined up, like he was on The Bachelor. People go on The Bachelor or on The Bachelorette. You go on that show, you get a little crazy after the fact, and then you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind. He had me fooled.
God, he's like me if I had a vocabulary.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I meant to ask him. I wanted to know what inspired him when he was 18 to memorize the dictionary. Because you know who else did that? Malcolm X did that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it changed his fucking life. Oh damn.
I
wanted to know if it was. I bet you he got it from fucking Malcolm X, dude. I bet you he read Malcolm X's autobiography.
He pronounced apropos apropos.
Yeah, I thought that was just a different version of the word.
I think it's just apropos.
Oh, either way.
But that was the one thing. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that sounds like somebody who memorized the dictionary and like hadn't used that word before, or like doesn't use it normally.
Man, he was good, and I liked it when he talked. He would go till till he ran out of air.
Yeah, he did that.
Like as he got the last word, thank you, and then he would stop and be like, "Fuck that, you are fucking amazing."
He speaks really well. Like he'll just keep going, there was no dead air. There wasn't like he was never like computing anything. It was always it was coming out all the time. It was cool.
Hey, before he came on, he texted me. He's like, "Hey, I only got 45 minutes." So like as soon as anytime anyone ever says that, I'm like, "All right, motherfucker." Yeah. I'm gonna try to win your heart. I'm gonna try to win your heart. I'm gonna give you a little handy. Handy.
So we get another 45 out of that.
Yeah. When he said at the 43-minute mark, he'll say to stay on as long as I want. I was like, yeah, boy.
I say that to people that I don't really want to hang out with. I'll be like, oh yeah, but I have to leave at this time.
Dude, I got myself in a fucking mess.
What'd you do this time?
So yesterday, my mother-in-law sends me a text. I haven't even opened it yet.
Oh, jeez.
But it's to me and my wife, and I just saw whatever the first words are. Congratulations, I'm so happy for you. And I'm like, oh fuck, it must be me and my wife's anniversary. And then Haley goes, then Avi runs in the room and gives me a hug, 20 minutes later. He's like, happy anniversary. And I look at Haley, I'm like, it's our anniversary. And she's like, yeah. And we don't really have like a anniversary. You know what I mean? We went and got married in a courthouse.
Yeah. Did you guys have a real wedding?
In the courthouse we did. Like some Chinese lady who, oh, you get married now. Oh, you take this woman to be your happily wedded wife. Oh, sounds like Elmer. Did I sound like Elmer Fudd or an Asian person?
Yeah, that was not an Asian woman. But
oh, you feel like, oh, you have a nice day. Oh, you're very beautiful. Anyway, I should show you our wedding picture. It's like with an iPhone.
Oh, it's probably with a flip phone, but it's okay.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, we've only been married a few years.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
However old the twins are. So I just remember thinking if I died, I wanted it to be super easy for Haley to get all this shit. But anyway, that being said, I'm very happy I got married. Something changed inside of me, and I'm so glad I did it. I didn't expect something to change inside of me, but something did. That being said, go ahead.
Like your marriage changed something inside of you? Like you being married, like having like lawful matrimony?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it made me more I don't know if committed is the word. I never thought I would have a wife, and I thought it would be weird. Like I never even thought I could say like, "Hey, that's my wife," but like that's my wife. Just like I never thought I would be comfortable saying I'm a dad. Now I just can't picture it any other way. Yeah, my wife.
My wife.
Anyway, so yesterday my wife's like, and she knows how absurd this is to say this, just crazy absurd, just batshit crazy to talk to me like this, but she does it anyway. She goes, because my wife goes to a class. My wife does a class pretty much every day, whether it's a CrossFit class, a Pilates class, a hot yoga class. Every day for an hour, she'll go somewhere in town and she does something.
Sweet.
So, and she always said that she'll usually text me during the show, can I do an 11 a.m. class or this or that? She always does that. And I always write back the same thing. Of course.
Right.
And I'll stop anything if she wants to do a class. I'll even cancel a podcast. I don't care. I want her to do her class. It's what she fucking wants to do. Like, I don't give a fuck. Go do your class.
Right.
I love it. She always comes back in a great mood. So yesterday she goes, and she's been telling me, she's like, hey, I think you'll really like this class. She's been saying that for like 2 or 3 years. She's like, the instructor's got big old titties. You'll love it. And I know that's like, when she's saying that, like, I know the manipulation's turned up fucking full throttle.
Right.
I'm like, oh, cool. That's cool. And she'll be like, oh, the instructor said this today, quoted Eckhart Tolle, or she says all this shit.
Yeah. Try to butter
you might not know this about me, but I'm very finicky.
I never would have guessed.
Very stuck in my ways. And so getting me to do something different is
impossible.
Yeah, I would drive it. Yeah, I don't even want a new car. I just need to drive it to death. So yesterday she goes, hey, so tomorrow for our anniversary gift to me, you'll come to Pilates, right? And I had this fucking, I had this flush. Yeah, dude. And I'm like, and she knows me so well. Whenever she said it, it just fucking stuck. I was like, yeah, of course, I'll do that.
Nice.
And she right away goes, don't worry, there's fat old guys in there. I'm like, that's
not helpful.
I don't know how to process that. I just stay quiet. I'm like, okay. She's like, the instructor is going to be beautiful. I'm like, all right. She's like, you could stand by the, she's like, she right away starts basically letting me know, hey, you're a pussy, but don't worry. It's okay. There's other pussies in there. She's like, you can lay your mat out by the door. And when the door opens, you'll get fresh air. And like, she's like trying to make me feel better, but she's just scaring me.
Yeah.
No, don't worry. When you ride on the back of Godzilla, it's fine. No one's died in 3 years. He's never killed an Armenian. I want to be like, oh my God. So today I'm doing my first. Here's the thing. I told her, she goes, you're really going to like it. I go, it doesn't matter whether I'm going to like it. I don't say that to her, but that's what I'm thinking in my head, because like, I'm never like, it's not like fucking. Like I like it. I'm going to fuck again.
Right.
No matter how much I like this, I'm not doing it again. There's like, I'm not peeling off an hour of my day to go drive somewhere, go in a room with, I just can't in a million years. But anyway, I didn't want to fall down the rabbit hole. But so I told her yes. And now today at 11 o'clock, I'm going to hot Pilates class, and I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm already like, I can't tell who's more worried about it, me or her. I think no matter what, I'm going to tell her I like it. Like, yeah, even if I fucking hate it, I'm going to be like, dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Have to.
And then she goes, it's an hour long. And usually when I work out, like a lot of times I'll do 40-minute workouts, but at 40 minutes, I turn off. And this class is an hour. And my wife's in crazy shape. And it's going to be,
last 20 minutes sucks.
Yeah, she's like, she tells me just last week, she's like, oh my God, class was over and they wound us down. And then she finished with having us do 30 burpees after she wound us down. I'm like, oh my, and it's like 109 degrees in the room. She's like, it's okay if you go outside and get a fresh air during the class. I'm thinking to myself, fucking damn right it is.
I'm gonna have to take a shit at the 20-minute mark, dude.
I should just go Instagram live when I'm in there for an hour.
Oh, that'd be cool. Set up your phone on your water bottle and then just watch the live stream. Yeah, dude.
So last night we were at a jiu-jitsu tournament the whole fucking day. We sped. My son's destroyed people. We came home. I jumped in front of the TV set to watch the UFC fights, and my wife ordered a shitload of pizza.
Sick.
But I didn't eat any because I don't want to go to the Pilates class with fucking 8 pieces of pizza in my gut. So I had a slice of salmon instead. Yay. Dude, so here's what I'm thinking. Because I have to set up rewards for myself. So this is what I'm thinking. My kids are going to be at my mom's house while I do Pilates. I'm going to drink a huge scoop of NO Explode before I go in there.
Okay.
And then in my water bottle, I'm going to put creatine and arginine. It's actually citrulline. I'll put citrulline in there, which I think your body can turn into glutamine or arginine, whatever it needs. And then maybe I'm going to eat a banana before I go in there for energy. Like I haven't eaten anything today. I'll eat a banana, NO Explode, citrulline, and creatine in my water bottle. And then right when it's done, I'll go pick my kids up and I'll take them to this restaurant that's right on the beach.
Yeah.
And just celebrate with some, what's that called? When fish and chips?
Fish and chips, yeah.
And spicy margaritas.
That's a good reward. I like it.
Pop a Viagra before you go.
Got to get the blood flowing.
God, I woke up in the middle of the night with the craziest hard on last night. That's what I told my wife too. In the middle of the night, I woke up. It was like one of those ones you get when you're 16 years old. It hurt. It woke
Those are
me
the
up.
worst.
Yeah, it was like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm like, motherfucker, it's 3 a.m. Stand down.
What are you doing?
Oh my God. I'm just gonna be just taken out of my loop. I just
And you got to
Anyway.
like meet new people.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get there
all
15
that.
minutes early. Sign the waiver.
Here's the thing too. I'm gonna go in there. Here's I know exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go in there and there's gonna be some dude. There's gonna be like 3 dudes in there that are fucking gods. And I'm gonna be to my wife, how often are those dudes in there? She's like, oh, they're here all the time.
Why didn't you tell me about them before I showed up?
It reminds me of the time that we were at the beach and there was this. It was in the middle of the day and at the top of the stairs there's this guy laying out. He has his shorts all rolled up. He's like 6'3", just jacked and fucking tan and beautiful. I'm like, fuck, look at that dude. My wife's like, I know him. And my wife goes over and says hi to him. I'm like, how do you know that guy? She's like, oh, he does my 10 a.m. CrossFit class. I'm like, I thought you said there were no men in it. It was a mom's class. She's all, and him. I'm like, motherfucker, and him.
A mom's class and a stay-at-home dad.
Genius, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
That dude's slaying.
Dude, anytime I didn't really, I had like an afternoon job or like I was in college, you go to the 10 a.m. class or like the noon class and it's all the hot moms. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, that's why you got to homeschool your kids. You go to skate park. It's just fucking beaver with their kids during the middle of the day. Take your kids for a walk along the beach. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I would see these women too. Like they would I would see the women like, because I do the same walk for years. I would see women go through these cycles, right? Have a baby, get big, get skinny, have another baby, get big, get skinny.
Wow.
Titties get big, titties go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Transforming.
Yeah, transforming. Yeah, hot moms are the best. I agree. It's crazy.
Yeah, when I moved to this new RV park, that's all I saw. I like drove around and like in the surrounding neighborhood, and it was just like hot moms walking their kids around. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice spot.
And you know what? Hot moms get to do that because they're hot, and so they get dudes who can take care of them, who fuck hot chicks, and so then they don't have to work. You can always tell, like if I see a car pull up at the skate park and it's a shitty car, I know it's going to be an ugly mom. And if it's a nice car, it's going to be a hot mom. It's like 80% accurate.
And if it's like a mildly attractive woman, usually they're just like chain smoking and drinking Mountain Dew or something.
We don't allow
like,
Mountain Dew in California.
Oh, okay, cool. It's like it would look like a waitress at Waffle House.
Oh, Jake goes to Pilates. I go to Pilates. This is hot Pilates. Do you do hot Pilates? It's going to be a hot Pilates.
Fuck that, dude. I hate when it's hot.
I like it when it's hot. So my wife goes like this. How about this part? My wife goes, I go, hey, what do I wear? She goes, your workout clothes. I'm like, I work out in my fucking underwear. Like, do you want to see these are my workout clothes.
It's those freaking joggers. Those
I don't even wear joggers.
No?
These are underwear. 32 heat, 2-pack. These are just long johns. I just work out in my underwear. Every day, I just work out in my underwear. And this shirt. So from here, I'll go inside and I'll hang out a little bit. Maybe I'll pull on some joggers on over these if I go out in public.
Yeah.
But then I come home, I just take off the joggers and then I just work out. And then I put on another. And then do you know what I do after that? I just put on another pair of underwear. I have like 20 of these.
Wow.
That's all I wear all day, every day. I just wear underwear.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if you should go there with that.
Except at night when I go to bed, I put on boxers. I don't want anything squeezing my balls when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, you just free ball at night for sure. That's amazing.
So then I'm like, hey, can I just wear these and pull some like baggy shorts over these? She's like, you're not going to want to wear those in there. I'm like, why not? She's like, it's fucking 109 degrees in there.
Yeah, and you're not a shorts guy either.
No, but I mean, I have owned shorts, but like, I don't know, like wear cut off compression pants. I don't think go ahead.
My dad's big on compression, like kind of like rash guard, like compression pants, and then like shorts on top of that. And then he'll do that, like he'll do like the Austin Malleolo like long sleeve compression shirt
Yeah.
and a shirt over top. I don't know how he does it because I'd be sweating my balls off.
Yeah, I sweat my balls off, but and that's what I like. Your dad's old like me. He likes it because it keeps all like you don't feel all your pain goes away when you're sweating. Yeah, that's so I started off like for like a week wearing shorts over like whenever I started this look like 2 years ago. I started like with pulling shorts over like I was gonna hide the fact I was wearing underwear.
Yeah.
And then after like 2 weeks, I said, fuck it. I don't even fuck it. I'm wearing like
you never even leave your house.
What am I doing wearing shorts over this? There's absolutely no fucking point. When we have it's gotten so bad that when we have guests over, I just wear my underwear. It must be weird. It must be weird for people. I wonder if they talk behind my back. Yes, that we're going to that old guy's house. He just wears his underwear around the house.
Yeah, we're gonna go watch UFC fights at that guy's house where he just wears his underwear and double dips his Doritos in the guac.
No, I don't do that. Man. All right. Well, that interview went great. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was really good. It'd be really cool to have him back on. You think he's working with Daily Wire?
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Isn't there a Daily Wire and a Daily Caller?
I don't know about Daily Caller.
Who else is someone made a movie already, didn't they? With like a trans volleyball team or something. It was a comedy. Who made that? Was that Daily Wire? Who made that?
I don't know about that one.
Oh, tomorrow the Dick Doctor's on. Holy shit!
Wow.
Wow.
What an amazing lineup we have today. This
week's gonna be crazy. And then Katie Henniger, then Greg, then Joel Salatin, then Leah from BirthFit. God, I love all these topics.
Oh.
How about Trump being at UFC last night?
Did you hear? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Did you hear the crowd when they popped it up on the big screen?
No.
Erupted. It absolutely erupted. The whole stadium erupted. It was incredible.
What do you think? I'm gonna go to RFK's. What do you think RFK thought about it?
I don't know. I feel like it's like you going to Pilates. He's really unsure about it. He had to be convinced to go, and he's never been in that scene. So he's just like, okay, well, now I have
libtards are taught that it's barbaric and disgusting.
Yeah,
like that's what my dad would have told me when I was a kid.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think he
sometimes it is barbaric and disgusting. Not always.
I mean, you're watching guys beat the shit out of each other for money. Yeah, of course it's barbaric and disgusting. There's blood all over the fucking canvas.
Yeah, you're right, from the previous fights. I know when I've had people come watch it at my house who's never seen it before, they're like, "What's that on the ground? Is that blood?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "What?" I'm like, yeah, from the previous fight.
Right. There's a whole card. There's like 30 plus people fighting in a night, and all of their blood ends up on the mat on the canvas, and they don't do anything about it. Which is, I mean, that's part of the allure.
As soon as I saw RFK
combat.
Yeah, as soon as I saw RFK there, I was like, "Oh, he's not used to this." Hey, I just opened Twitter. I need to start using Twitter. I don't really know how to use it, but I just repost stuff. I need to start saying stuff on there. But look at this. I opened it up, and this was the first video they served me. Look at this. They call this the single greatest male athletic achievement of all time. There's a ball in the air. Do you see it?
No. If it's a baseball, I'm not going to. But
do you see it now? It's right
Oh
here
yeah,
on.
yeah. I see it.
Okay. Look at this. That's fucking insane, dude.
Oh my
Was
god,
that
he let go and re-grabbed.
Oh, is that what's happening?
He let go of the child, had a beer in his other hand, grabs the baseball, re-grabs the baby. That's amazing, dude. The kid's like, what the fuck? That guy with the mustache is also like, are you insane? Release it. He kind of has to hitch the baby up a little bit so it like gets in the air, grabs the baseball, brings it back down, grabs the baby. Baby's fine. Beer's fine. Now you got a freaking foul ball or a home run. Probably a home run.
That's fucking
incredible.
crazy. Not impressed.
Shut
up. Oh, Barry McCockner, the video's old. All right, fuck you.
Well, obviously.
Like old, like yesterday old? Okay, what do I type in? RFK? RFK. I want to see if he tweeted anything about the fight.
Say that one more time.
I want to see if RFK tweeted anything about the fight. I don't RFK people. Oh, okay. Go to his. Oh, I don't even follow him. Okay, I'll follow him now. No. Thank you for your thrilled to announce. No, nothing. I wonder if I Google that. Did RFK like the UFC? Nothing. Another thing my wife said, she goes, hey, the music's going to be really loud in there.
In a Pilates class?
Yeah, in a hot Pilates class.
Why?
I don't know, but I don't like loud music. At all. At all. Unless it's bass.
Should ask him to turn it down.
Unless it's this. Unless it's this song right here. I love this song.
Fuck with me, you know I got it.
That song's great. I did something when Josh came on that I've never done with a guest. While he was in the waiting room, I had this song playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think he liked it?
How could you not? Doesn't everyone love this song?
That's good. It is kind of weird when you're sitting in the waiting room and like nothing's happening. You're like, am I in the right place? Nobody's on the screen. Like having something to like hold, like almost like being in a waiting, like an actual waiting room and having like, I don't know, a TV playing or like music on, I feel like is comforting.
I'm going to pull you off a second. Tell me if you can hear this. Yeah, you can. Okay, so I'm going to start doing this. Yeah, so I was like, hey, I'm going to play this song while he's in the waiting room to kind of set the mood.
Yeah.
2 10s in the trunk, 2 15s in the trunk. Playa. Jesus, Sevon. Shut the fuck up and enjoy the gift. The gift. Hold on a second. Jody, I accept the premise, Jesus. I accept the premise, Sevon, shut the fuck and enjoy. But the gift, what gift are you talking about?
Time together. Time enjoying her something that she appreciates.
Listen, my wife, when she works out in the bedroom and she puts on the TV and she exercises, I'll go sit in there and just fucking watch her shake her ass for an hour. I'd love that gift. Watching her do fucking down dog and fucking grab a toe and fucking hold it up and all that shit. I'll fucking eat that shit up. But fucking going into a sweaty room with a bunch, I don't understand the gift part. God, it sucks we're not allowed to play music.
Yeah.
Hey, what have you ever gone back and when you say erase song, gone back and seen? Does it actually just erase the song, but you can still hear us talking?
No, I actually haven't tried that yet. I should probably check it next time I do it.
I did it yesterday for something. I just put erase song, keep words. I don't know how it
Yeah.
does that.
I know that's like a new thing that YouTube started doing, because before it was just like mute segment. So like that whole segment of the show ended up being muted. But then there was like a beta feature that they had where it would just mute the song. So maybe they've worked on it.
Sevi puts his Dave Castro interviews on in the background when he's bang. Fucking. So.
Fuck with me, you know I got it. Fuck with me, you know I got it.
Sucks. Can't play my favorite song. All right, I gotta go fucking figure out what I'm gonna wear. You think if I just wear, I mean, if I'm gonna wear this t-shirt in there, it's just gonna be just drenched, hanging off, it's like stuck to my gunt, right? My titties.
Oh. Yeah.
Like you're gonna see my nipple. Wow.
No, nobody's gonna be looking at you.
No, I'm not. Oh, good point. It's a great point.
It'll be fine.
Every 2 seconds, I'm gonna be like this.
That's why I wear XXL shirts, man. I just wear oversized shirts so I never have to worry about it.
Yeah, but my shit's gonna be wet. It's gonna be like I jumped in the pool. I think it's gonna, and I sweat like a fucking maniac, dude.
Mm.
Oh my!
Just wear a black.
Say it again.
Wear a black shirt.
All right, good idea. Glitton Things tonight at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 2:05 Pacific Standard Time. Be there or be square. That's. I can't believe that podcast. I guess I can't believe my podcast isn't fucking massive either. I can't believe that podcast isn't massive. Dude, if you're a fucking lesbian and you don't listen to those chicks, you're fucking out of your mind. I mean, anyone should listen to them. It's a great podcast, but fuck. And I only get, every time I listen to it, I'm like, man, this is getting good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Spincast at Pacific Standard Time, Grid Show. Wow. Scraping the bottom. John and the gang scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's
just
like
trying to show everybody some love, you know? Even the little guys.
That's like when you run out of weed and you get a pocket knife and you're scraping the resin out of your stem. Grid Show.
Oh, Jesus.
You know? It's apropos, don't you think, that comparison?
Apropos.
Apropos analingus. All right, guys. Is there another? Oh shit.
What?
Luke Stoltman has made a post.
Oh shit.
Oh my God.
No way.
Hey, dude. Maybe
You know that shit ended up in the New York Post?
It did?
The stuff about his affair is in the New York Post.
Wow. That's fucking crazy. New York.
And also Barbell Spin, obviously. So
New York Post. What do I look up? Luke Stoltman? Luke.
I just looked up Luke Stoltman and it was like the first article to pop up.
Wow, it is in the New York Post. See, hey, dude, you're a fucking bitch, Kushi. You are Seema's gonna be so mad. Seema, brace yourself. Seema, brace yourself. You're a fucking bitch.
No.
God.
I'm glad.
Don't worry, Mrs. Kushi. Caleb's cool with you. He don't think you're a fucking bitch, psychotic bitch.
Necessary. Here,
I'm sorry. I want to be compassionate. I want to be compassionate. Kushi, I'm sorry. I know those are hard times. I wish you wouldn't have posted it. I'm glad you were. I hope it works out for you. All that being said, you fucking moron.
Here you go.
Hold on. I want to read the new. Can we do the New York Post one first?
Yeah. Hold on.
I was balls deep in fucking Hooper Mitchell, and I apologize. But who wouldn't? Me and Thor made Hooper Mitchell airtight. Ugh. Strongman champ Luke Stoltman's wife, Kushi Stoltman, accused him of cheating on her with multiple people throughout their marriage in a gut-wrenching note posted to her. It wasn't gut-wrenching.
Of course, it's gut wrenching.
Kushi's a 31-year-old content creator. You mean strongman, fucker. Claims Stoltman was having an affair. Dude, if you're a content creator, then listen, when
Then
you're
she has to post that. If she's a content creator, she has to post
okay,
that.
you're right. I do give her a pass. Yeah.
You
You're right. Because everything's content. That's a good point.
Exactly.
Okay, point, Caleb.
Thank
In
you.
it, Kushi, 31-year-old content creator, claimed that Stoltman was having an affair with a female powerlifter unbeknownst to her while she was going through IVF treatments. Kushi gave birth to their son, Koa Devaki Stoltman on January 2nd. They put the kid's name in there, but they don't.
That's pretty.
But I know, but they don't put in the fact that he was fucking balls deep in Peacock. And hey, and you know what else is stupid? That she outed Peacock. You know what's really misogynistic about Kushi? She outed the bitch, but didn't out the dude. She should have outed the dude he was fucking. She outed Peacock. She should have outed the dude he was fucking too.
So she's fine with him fucking other dudes, just not fine with him fucking other women.
That part's not cool at all. I thought my world was completely whatever. Shut the fuck up.
That's the art.
Our 9-month-old Nakushi concluded the note by naming the woman she accused her. God, they're worse than Talking Elite Fitness, the New York Post. Concluded that the note by naming the woman she accused her husband of having an affair with. Why didn't you say her fucking name? She's heartbroken and devastated. So all they did was elongate the fucking mental illness letter post with some commentary.
This is filed under cheating, Europe's strongest man, WAGs, weightlifting, and 11-14-24.
What are WAGs? Women who go. Oh, does it say WAG?
World's strongest man, I think.
No, you know what WAGs is? WAGs is a term for women who go after. It's older women who go after famous young athletes. There's a book called WAGs. It's for like MILFs, hot ladies in their 40 on how to fuck 20-year-old men. Fuck. Oh my God, I panicked. I thought I got this gripper stuck on my finger.
Wives and girlfriends of well-known athletes.
Yeah.
Wow.
WAGs.
Simone Biles.
Where's Tima? Did she get upset at me? No, she's gone.
What a stupid term.
Okay, good.
What's crazy is like the people that they're calling WAGs are like Livy Dunn, and she's like a world-renowned gymnast.
I don't even know who she is. Hey, look at the scroll to the picture of Kushi, strongman champ Luke Stoltman's wife, Kushi Stoltman. She's wearing blue. Keep going. There, this one. Look at get her tits in there. Those things look monstrous there.
Yeah, those things are huge.
Monstrous.
That's the size you need a reduction, probably.
Damn. With that kind of thinking, I'd cheat on her too if she thought about getting a reduction. Hammers. Those aren't even hammers. Those are something else. God. I don't know how that makes it. He probably loves it that it made it into the New York Post. Okay, let's read what he said. This should be its own show. Fuck, I feel like I got it. I wonder how my wife always leaves like 10 minutes before class starts. I feel like I need to leave now to prepare.
Yeah, mentally, physically.
Like I need to be pacing out front. Actually, I want to show up a little late. I don't want to see anyone who goes in the class before me.
You just want to walk in and be like, what's up?
I want to walk in, go straight to down dog, hold it for fucking an hour, and then fucking be the first one out and go get in my car. I'm really being open-minded to this. You'll always want to be in the back. I know. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
actually,
for sure. Back row bitches.
Yeah, I'm gonna get way back there. Yeah, I guess you. What if this bitch is like, we want to welcome our newest person to the class? Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
You're
Okay,
fucked, dude.
Let me read Luke Stoltman's letter. I can't even enjoy this because I have to pee so bad. Oh shit! My wife just texted me. I was gonna say that Josh Seiter reminds her of the gay version of me. Yeah, that's what I felt like I was like. If I was just a little more open to having cock in my mouth. I want to acknowledge the pain caused to my family and friends and community by recent social media and news. Oh shit! See, he didn't even cause the pain. It was social media and news that caused the pain.
No, he's deflecting. He's not taking responsibilities for his actions here.
Listen,
He fucked this up.
I want to acknowledge the pain caused to my family and friends and community by recent by that shit my bitch ass wife posted.
No, he did it. He fucking did that shit. Stop deflecting his fucking problem. He did this.
I'm sorry. I furthermore want to apologize for how my wife has hurt all of you. I regret the mistakes that I have made and the impact they've had, especially on my family, Kushi and my son, who is my world. Well, he should have had someone check this before he wrote it. I regret the mistakes that I've made and the impact they've had, especially on my family, Kushi, and my son, who is my world. So his wife's not his world, just his son is. If he would have said, "Who are my world?" it would be, wow, yeah. He just fucked Kushi in that.
Yeah, he's really fucking himself.
Yeah. Well, not everything shared is true. Oh, that meaning he's not butt slamming dudes, right?
Well, maybe. Read the next sentence.
Well, not everything is true. I want to be clear that I was with my son in hospital. Wow, who the fuck
he's
wrote
fucking
this?
dude still.
Okay.
He's definitely fucking dude still.
All right. So he was with his son in the hospital. That part wasn't true.
Okay. So I'm less mad at him for that. That was my big hang up.
Less judgmental.
Little less judgmental here.
I'm committed to acting responsibly and rebuilding the trust of those who feel let down. Like who?
Your wife?
No one's I'm not let down. Dude, I'm excited you took second place, dude. I'm a real fucking nigga. I don't give a fuck. You bang who the fuck you want to bang.
However, actions have consequences.
I do think you're a bitch for letting fucking Mitchell Hooper, who doesn't even look like he's on steroids, beat you, and you look like a fucking barnacle on the back of a fucking whale. You've taken so much juice. I was gonna use the F word at him. I was gonna use the FAG word at him, but
wow,
yeah,
you're really gonna go there, huh?
I was gonna go there.
Wow. That's
I'm deeply grateful for those who continue to support me. Thanks, Brada. I support you. I support you more now than I ever did, which is crazy.
Nah, I'm unfollowing after this.
And my focus remains on caring for my son and supporting those affected by this situation. Good job, dude.
Yeah, I'm pissed at you, dude. I want you need to regain my trust.
If you homeschool your kid, I'll think you really care. If you don't, use a bitch.
If you don't quit strongman right now.
Use a bitch, nigga, if you don't homeschool your kid. I respectfully ask for privacy. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. What does that word mean? Respectfully.
If you don't quit strongman and prop your wife up, your content creating wife up on a pedestal after the pain you've caused me and the community who supports strongman and women.
I'm going to double down on the juice. That's what I want to hear. I can't afford, because my wife fucked this all up by coming public with it. I lost half my sponsors, you fucking slut muffin. And now I can't take enough juice to win the CrossFit games or whatever he does. Listen, fuck you. I say what oh, hi, Jeremy. Fucking in gangster mode right now. With deference and respect. That's what respectfully means. With deference and respect, ask for privacy.
Should have asked for privacy a long time ago, buddy.
With deference and respect, that doesn't even make sense. What do you mean? What's deference mean? What do you mean with deference and you and with humbleness? That's what deference is. Humble with humility. What's humility mean? You don't need that word. Respectfully, it doesn't even fit there. Why do people say that? It doesn't even work.
No offense.
With a fucking 1,000-pound back squat and a fucking micro penis, I ask for privacy. That makes more sense. For my family, as we navigate this matter together. Jesus. This response is perfect. We're all standing behind you. No, the response is not perfect. Oh, and then this fucking whore, gay-like 84, literally only sorry because you got caught and outed. So the fuck what, dude? So the fuck what? I'll never forgive you because you only came clean because you got... So what? I don't understand how that's even an argument. That one's used all the time. Oh, I told you the story. Some guy robbed my house and then he returned all the shit. And my housemates were like, "Hey, dude, we got to report him to the police." I'm like, "No, we're not doing that. He gave the shit back." And they're like, "Well, he only gave the shit back because he got paranoid and thought we were going to catch him." I'm like, "Dude, I don't give a fuck what the reason is."
Wow, you and this guy would get along really well.
I thought it was something serious. What the tree does this with his trunk? What the tree does with his trunk is his business. Well, it's our business now. Now we're content. Now it's content for our content creation business. The
That's
Sevon
right.
podcast. The Sevon podcast.
Wow.
God damn, eat fruit.
Oh, Lukey, the gift that keeps giving. Just stop doing mental health content. That's not your business. Bad decision and choices don't change who you are. Life is about learning and growing from all these choices and decisions we make. Fair enough. Well said. People need to respect your private life. You don't even know. Respect your private life. Think of how weird that is. He's making a post for everyone on the planet to see, but we're supposed to respect his private life. Let me get one word in about how I was banging dudes. I wasn't banging dudes, and I did see my son. And after that, I don't want to hear your guys' opinion. Caller, hi.
What's up?
What's up?
Here, chilling, serving coffee at the tactical games.
Oh, shit. What's up, Gabe?
Chilling, man. Just I'm about to tear down and head back to New Jersey from Austin.
I'm about to go to hot Pilates class.
I know. I hear.
As I sip my last sip of Paper Street coffee.
Have fun with that, and congratulations on being with the same person for a very long time.
Thank you. It is pretty cool. My wife's so crazy cool.
Piggybacking off the conversation you just had like 10 seconds ago, apparently it's really hard.
It's so easy. I'm gonna have so much fun. And here's the thing. Here's the really fucked up part.
Exactly. It is easy.
Here's the thing. The whole thing is gonna be so stressful for her and not stressful for me at all. Because I'm gonna be back there, and she the whole time is gonna be worried that I'm not having fun, and I'm gonna enjoy her worrying that I'm not having fun. It's gonna be great. That's the reality of it. If she looks at one person fucking looks at me during the class, even on accident, like they spilled their water bottle or something, and they look back, I'm out.
Dude, hot Pilates is easy and it's fun.
Oh, she says it's hard as fuck, dude. And she's fucking crazy fit, dude. Like for her, she'll bang out 300 air squats fucking in 9 minutes.
But don't you?
Not like that.
Don't you control the resistance?
No, it's not. I don't think she does it on the machines. It's 60 fucking chicks in leotards and 5 fat dudes who are perverts in a fucking sweaty room that's 109 degrees with fucking really loud techno music on. And she's like, hold a plank. Oh, that's how I picture it. Hold a plank. Oh, one arm now. Good job, everyone. That's how I mean, I don't know, but.
That sounds amazing. Count me in.
Oh, shit. Washington, check this out, Gabe. Washington Post reporting that Jay Bhattacharya is emerging as a top candidate for the NIH post.
Let's go.
Yeah, baby.
Look at that. Trump's out here fucking assembling like the best superhero team on earth to just bring, I guess, the U.S. back.
Hey, how is selling coffee at Tactical Games? Guys who shoot guns drink lots of coffee?
Not just guys, man. Like ladies out here. We talk to husbands supporting wives, wives supporting husbands. There's a bunch of kids, a bunch of dogs. This looks like a huge family like event. I thought it was just gonna be a bunch of bros, but it's definitely not that. It's like a bunch of families.
Is Lauren Khalil there?
Yeah, that's the reason why we're here. Tactical Games reached out to us because of her. So shout out to her.
Oh, that's awesome. Tell her more podcasts.
Yeah.
She's behind. Tell her I listened to her she does this show on her channel. A dating
Yeah,
podcast.
we were just talking. She's awesome.
We need more dating shows. Regular Tinder shows.
I'll definitely let her know. This is awesome. It's my first time really seeing this is like their national event at the end of the year. And it's fucking dope. I didn't expect it to be what it is. And it's really, really cool.
You just hear guns going off just nonstop?
Yeah, we're like right by one of the main stages. So it's not as bad as it sounds, but yeah, it just guns off and fitness going off and just people just fitnessing and being really good at shooting stuff while their heart rate is really, really high.
That's
It's
really
been
cool.
it's been really cool. It's been really, really cool to see. Are we down to do what we said we were gonna do for Kill Taylor?
For December?
For I don't know. It's 5 weeks until it's 5 weeks. So
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
all right. So you want to start it this weekend, or you got someone for this weekend?
I think we have. Let me check with Souza. I think we have holy balls for the next 2 weeks. I think we were planning for the month of December, doing the Paper Street Coffee thing.
All right. We'll do it like every week, and we'll leave it going up until Christmas. Just throw a whole bunch of money at people to try to
Hey,
beat Taylor.
so don't tell anyone, guys, but it sounds like Gabe, thanks to Paper Street Coffee, will be doubling the prize money from December 7th, December 14th, December 21st, December 28th. So the whole month of November, the prize it's our Christmas Paper Street Coffee. Merry Christmas from Paper Street. $1,000 every Saturday, and it'll just keep going up $1,000 until anyone wins it. So $1,000 on Saturday the 7th, $2,000 on the 14th if no one wins, $3,000 on the 21st, and $4,000 on the 28th. Holy shit, Gabe! Thank you.
No problem. And on top of that, for the people that don't feel like calling in and trying to beat Taylor,
Yes.
for that hour, we'll do like stupid, crazy sales that 1 hour, and then if someone beats Taylor, we'll probably end up doing something extravagant. Example, right? We might do a 40% off for that hour, plus you get a free bag of coffee. And if someone beats Taylor, right? If I go, hey, Colton, do me a favor, call in and beat the shit out of Taylor, maybe everyone gets a free Hank roast, or maybe we double everyone's coffee order for that hour.
Holy shit. Hey,
maybe if I'm like, hey, do the same thing with Ariel, with our other athletes, and be like, hey, Ariel, go beat him up again.
was that great? Her and Dylan called in and ass pounded us. Damn. Hey, will you hold on 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, dude. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Taylor.
What's up?
Gabe says that for the month of December, starting on the first Saturday in December, he's gonna sponsor for the whole month of December and make the prize money for Kill Taylor $1,000 and go up $1,000 incrementally. So double the prize money for December.
Damn. And what if nobody beats me in December?
Then that's a good question. We got to figure that out. But that would be $4,000. That would be a record if no one beats you. I mean, that would be insane if no one beats you 4 weeks in a row.
Oh, well, I've gone like 6 weeks in a row, dude.
So are you going to do it? You think you can do it? Are you going to make some just unbeatable workouts during December?
Yeah, for December, I don't want anyone to beat me. Now knowing that.
Taylor, if someone beats you, I'll basically go broke. If someone beats you for the 4 weeks, I'm going to be doing stupid giveaways that hour. If someone beats you, that's all on you. That's
Kill
all on your
Taylor.
shoulders.
Taylor Self. Sentinel's doing great, but he put Gabe out of business.
All right, here's what we got. Week 1, 55 muscle ups for time. Week 2, 60 muscle ups for time. Week 3, 65. Week 4, 70 muscle ups for time.
Game. Perfect.
Yeah. Whatever it is, don't be a pussy. Don't get fucking Ariel to beat you or Colin to beat you anymore.
I won't be a pussy. For the month of December, I'm gonna do that thing where I did that workout that no one even came close and no one called in, so I did it again the next week.
Perfect.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, do it, dude. Hey, Taylor.
If someone beats you, that's the thing. They're gonna, for that hour, any order that gets placed, they're gonna get something dope. Whether it's a brand new shirt, whether it's we double the coffee order. So if someone spends $100 and you lose, they'll get an extra $100, especially like for Christmas and all that bullshit. Like, so definitely don't make it what yesterday was. Don't make it something
Please.
Gabby with one ankle can beat you. Don't make Colton, who's the size of my kid, don't make it easy for him to beat you.
Some old lady
Right,
from
no more
England
women
almost
and
beat
no
him.
more- Right. I'm not gonna let women beat me anymore, and I won't let fucking Colton beat me anymore. Got it.
There you go. You got a month. Everyone's on notice. People got to call in, though.
Hey, Taylor. Should we do a special Christmas show?
Oh, a Christmas Kill Taylor?
Yeah.
Make it 5.
Or like
Make it 5.
was that what you were talking about? Were you talking about?
I'm talking about
just
December
the general
25th,
show?
like the actual day. Let's talk about that. Maybe just do an actual show on Christmas morning.
Okay, not a Kill Taylor show, just a regular show.
No, a Kill Taylor show, a bonus one, maybe even.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bonus Kill Taylor, an extra $1,000.
Okay. Lizzie says not on Christmas morning, but on Christmas Day, maybe.
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Just don't be scared. Just do it. There should be no fear in your voice. It should just be all action.
Got it.
All right,
All right,
Taylor,
guys.
you the man, dude.
I'll talk to you.
Congratulations. Gabe, hold on,
Talk to you
Gabe. You
guys.
stay on. Hold on, Gabe.
Yeah.
You stay on. I want to
Go
talk to
ahead,
you.
go ahead.
Thanks, Taylor. Hey, are you doing any Black Friday stuff?
Oh, dude. So we're going to do Black Friday stuff. It's going to be akin, no one's hearing it, but it's going to be basically the same thing that we're doing, that we did last year. If you remember what it was, that's fine. If you don't remember what it was, you're going to have to wait. We're going to do the same exact thing. But our main things are going to be for the Kill Taylor, that 1 hour. So it'll be like in 1 hour, like, go for it. You'll
Okay.
get an amazing deal for Black Friday that you could use for the Kill Taylor hours. But the Kill Taylor hours, like I said, hey, for let's say the first week, I think it's going to be you buy a coffee and you get a free mug, or you buy a coffee and you get an extra coffee as a gift. You get me? Because that's the goal. We're
Yeah,
gonna have
that's
people buy
awesome.
stuff for it.
Yeah, and all
For
I'm
their
hearing
stuff.
is we're gonna get more people to watch the show.
That's the goal. The more people that watch the show, the more people that try to beat them, the better it's going to be. Because if someone beats Taylor, whoever places an order for whatever it is, it's going to be something special, something unique every single week. So Taylor's goal is to make sure no one beats him. But everyone that's listening, it's your goal to go out and just beat the shit out of that ginger fuck. Because then everyone gets a bunch of free coffee, a bunch of free stuff.
All right.
Heck yeah. Well, I got to go. There's a lot of shooting. I can barely hear anything.
Yeah, I love the gunshots. All right, talk to you later.
I'll talk to you guys. Bye.
Big
Hey,
game.
guys, do you Greg's on getting ready to go on a flight and he wants to watch a documentary, and he said someone was recommending a documentary to him. Does anyone remember what it was? I'm trying to remember what it was.
Was it the one that Taylor recommended?
What was the one Taylor recommended?
Was the one about the vaccine?
Oh,
Let's see.
and then there was the I wanted to ask you,
Thank you,
Josh
Dr.
Seiter-
Fauci.
Oh, thank
Thank you,
you, Dr. Fauci. Sousa said sponsor next week is next 2 weeks is Holy Balls. Oh, I might have a Holy Balls right now. This is all. That's all I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat Holy Balls before my class, not a banana.
Okay.
David Weed, I'm telling you, Gabe is money laundering. God, I hope so. That would be amazing. The James O'Keefe one?
What's the James O'Keefe one?
That was the border one. I feel like none of that shit matters anymore. And I kind of like Jose Ventura's take on that, even that,
Jorge.
Jorge, thank you. What did I say?
Jose.
Racist.
Line in the sand? No, that's Tucker Carlson.
Mac Daddy is the best Holy Balls flavor.
It might be Line in the Sand.
This one's just called Protein Bites. This one's called oh no, they're all called Protein Bites. The breakfast ball, the OG, the Loca Mocha. Oh, Line in the Sand. Yeah, that's probably just all shit we already know. I wonder if it's too early to eat. I should eat like an hour before. All right. Oh, do you think Standy, Randy, and David Weed fuck like Pool Boy and Julia?
No. I think they're in completely different parts of the
Do you think there's anyone else in David Weed's life who watches this show? You think like he has anyone like when the show's over? Do you think that's his real name, David Weed?
No. Yeah, I do think that's his real name. I don't think he has a moniker.
Do you think he has like friends like at the gym or in his life that he talks to about the show?
No, probably not. It's just he keeps that all upstairs.
This is just his guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I think so.
Here's how I picture. You want to know how I picture David Weed? He was in the military, U.S. military for 3 years and got like some sort of injury. You know what I mean? Like he threw his back out taking a shit on a latrine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Something just stupid. You know what I mean? Or like he was eating and he accidentally fucking poked his epiglottis with his fork. You know what I mean? While in the chow hall, just something just completely fucking started.
Yeah.
And he gets a check from the government now for the rest of his life for $2,400 a month. So he takes that money and he moves to Portugal. And he gets a small apartment there and he just works out and goes to coffee shops and bangs hoes. I swear to God, I'm not even saying it like that to be funny. That is 100. Like I have these little stories about everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's that Seema and that guy, it's not Ken Walters.
Fergie.
Who's the Fergie hooked up? Like I got I got a story for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I just picture, since they don't live in the same town, every time they see each other, they just coil like snakes, and he just motorboats the fuck out of her. He just goes crazy. You know what I mean? I picture, Jeff every morning Jeffrey Birchfield reads, like, sips a coffee and reads a newspaper and like has a couple nice phone calls with his kids and then works out and then goes to like a high school football game with his grandkids or some shit. Like everyone's got like a little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
CK Kevin's fucking at a house that looks like the fucking Shadikin with his back against the wall and a fucking 2 pounds of meth and a gun. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. That's nice. That's a little more. David has and he's picked up a hobby mountain bike. Yeah. He mountain bikes around Portugal.
But he doesn't tell the VA about that because then that would get rid of all of his disability. Right, David?
Yes.
Right, David?
So I have all these it's just crazy. But that's my one for David Weed. That's like, and a little part of me, like, That's like I think David, that's like the dream life. David's living the dream life. The only I would love it if he got some girl pregnant and fell in love with a kid. Like if he had a son, it would just fuck his whole shit.
Yeah.
He would go through a biological fucking metamorphosis and he'd be fucked. I hope he's around long enough to see that happen. But anyway, everyone's got like their own. I have my own little. Damn, that's totally Jeff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jeff's like the only dude in the chat who still reads he gets like the Christian Science Monitor sent to his house.
He gets it delivered for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says hi to his neighbors every day.
Oh yeah.
And there's probably some old fuck in the neighborhood that Jeff checks on once a week. Like pulls their trash cans in and out and shit for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. That's it. I gotta pee. We'll do a whole show on Luke Stoltman later on today. Watch Caleb and I continue to fight about the deep philosophical principles about what to post and what not to post.
That's right.
Oh yeah, see, his neighbors are his in-laws, even better. Yeah, so for sure he checks on them and like he does shit that they don't even know. Like every time he goes in the kitchen, they don't know it, but he makes sure their gas stove is off. He doesn't want to insult them. You know what I mean?
You never know.
He goes, yeah, because once or twice he's seen it on and he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff's got a penchant of libtard kindness in him, for sure. A former educator, he's got to have a little bit. Going out of his way to be extra nice.
He's a nice guy.
All right, guys. Love you guys. Wish me luck in my Pilates class. Hot Pilates today for Sevi. Caleb, thank you.
Sure.
Your Starlink was great today. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.